I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please don't sit yet. If we could, we're going to do a quick moment of silence for Miss Cecile Wren, who was a middle school principal here in Jericho for 8 years, from 1998 through 2006. We could have a quick moment of silence for Miss Wren. Thank you very much. Thank you for those of you joining us in person and on YouTube. Today, Mr. Goodstead, is Darwin Day. It is a day, as Ms. Ostroff knows, to promote science, something we are very focused on in Jericho under the strong leadership of Dr. Ostroff. Similarly, it is an opportunity to highlight intellectual bravery, perpetual curiosity, and the hunger for truth, ideas our entire district is committed to. Mr. Darwin's work had a broad impact on education, not only in science, but importantly through the Scopes monkey trial on an issue very close to Dr. Hartnett's heart, teacher freedom to teach what they want. 2 shout outs tonight, we're killing it. We have a very full agenda tonight, so we want to get right to it. We do not want to be here for Friday the 13th. 2 quick items. Registration for spring athletics have started, so please check out the portal per Mr. Kornblum. And if it feels like I am constantly announcing school closures, then you are not alone. Along that line, please note that no classes next week for students, February 16th through the 20th. Unless any of my colleagues here or on iPad have anything to add, I will turn it over. We are going to have a budget presentation number 2, unless my colleagues or the superintendent have anything to add before. As all regulars know, developing district budget is a complex, extended process. Recommending it is one of the board's biggest responsibilities. Tonight, we continue that process with budget presentation number 2. I encourage people here, should you have them, ask them questions I need.
Good. Everyone can still see it? Good. So cool. Yes.
Good evening, everyone. That's a little, is it a little echoey? We're good? Okay, great. Welcome to Budget Workshop number 2. It was just brought to my attention that the printed copies say 2526. So I think it's just an older version that you have, but as we go, if something is different in here compared to up here, I will...
The last date also says usually December 11, 2025.
I think it's just an older version, so as we go, if something is different, someone will point it out to me, and I will point your attention to the screen. The one online is updated, it's the correct one, and the one that'll be on the website tomorrow will be updated as well. Apologize for the inconvenience. Tonight we're going over, we'll go over the capital again briefly. We're going to go over pupil personnel services, library, guidance, health, psychology, and social workers. Next meeting on March 3rd, Tuesday, March 3rd. Make sure you correct your calendars. They updated the meeting at the last meeting. Will be all general ed, athletics, technology, transportation, and benefits. March 12th will be a review of revenues and expenditures, and of course, updates from all the buildings. and March 26th will be the adoption. Tax levy threshold. So we briefly talked about this last week in the final presentation, final workshop. We will have a detailed calculation, as we always do, of the final tax cap. It is due to the state on the beginning of March, but I will give you some additional information that we have at this point. I briefly discussed that our building aid increased. We did verify the numbers. They are increasing by close to $900,000. That does become a negative for the tax cap calculation that gets backed out. So what would have been probably 2.5-ish% tax cap will probably translate into about a 1.8, 1.9 cap for Jericho School District. So we will actually be below 2% for the cap, and that's probably where we'll end up. But again, we're still doing some final analysis. I'm sorry?
The numbers are a little different.
All right, so let's just ignore what you have in your hand right now and just look at the presentation. It is very clear up here. So the budget strategies, we obviously remain committed to the mission and goals. We always keep a multi-year perspective, especially when it comes to facilities and capital projects, looking at the long-range plans district-wide. And we continue to pursue efficiencies. We have many. We actually work on school buses, our mechanics do, for about 3 or 4 school districts, which helps offset the salaries for our mechanics that work on our buses. We have lots of purchasing cooperatives that we work with, and we LED lighting that we probably one of the first districts to introduce district-wide in all our classrooms, so we continue to do that on a daily basis. These are the projects, and again, I'm going to go through the capital a little quicker because we probably spent an hour and a half on that at the last meeting, but again, if there's any questions as we go, please raise your hand and we'll answer them. These are some of the projects already approved by the community that we're going to be looking at to do this coming summer. Little Theater hallway ceilings, if you remember, probably about 3 years ago, the curved part of the building, the old part of the high school, on the other side of the Little Theater we did, and now we're going to do the side with the Little Theater. That ceiling is asbestos abatement, so it's not something we could do during the school year. And we do want to keep the same architecture that we had for the old part. That's what we did about 3 or 4 years ago for the other side of the hallway. We're going to need to do that for the Little Theater side. District-wide masonry, what that is, the outside of the building, the brick and mortar specifically, mostly around chimneys, but a few other areas we need to repair. We're continuing the bathroom renovations district-wide. You probably saw a lot of that over the last couple of years in all of the buildings. Window replacements, we're continuing that at Cantiag and at this school at Cantiag. Last summer we did the second floor. This summer we're doing the first floor. And at high school, middle school, last summer we did the middle school, I say the new wing, it's probably close to 25 years now. And this year we're going to do the high school side. Cantiag gym floor replacement, high school elevator, and exterior doors. Looking at our proposition history, our capital reserve history, I always like to take a look at this every year. The first 4 capital reserves have been funded and authorized, and the spending has been authorized. The capital reserve 5 has a balance currently of about 4.7 million. We still have authority to add 5.1 million into it. And as I discussed at the last budget workshop, we're at that point where we need to start looking at a 6th capital reserve. What you'll see here are all of the projects based on the building conditions survey throughout the district. What you see in blue is what we're not recommending at this time. What's highlighted in yellow is what we are recommending. It's a lot of, at this particular building at Cantiag, we do need to replace the elevator. We have some minor work with some door replacement, step stairs, and pavement. and heating, generating system, insulate the boiler room ceiling. You're gonna see that project pretty much hold throughout all of the buildings.
Before you move on,
Yes, sir.
the elevator,
Yes.
we just approved the elevator for high school was $375.
We did.
We did, right?
Yes.
Why is the Cantiac elevator more expensive?
So the 375,000, first of all, was hard costs.
Okay,
Secondly, if you remember that bid, we had three bidders. The lowest happened to be 375.
that is the market rate,
The lowest had to be 375,
yes,
and we had one for 420 and one for 440.
right,
But even if you take the 375, you add 18% soft costs, that brings you to about 440,
right.
and then escalation will bring you back up to about 460.
What escalation?
It's,
Inflation?
it'll be 2 years later when that project gets done.
Are you telling me that we're gonna have 22% of inflation in 2 years?
I did not say that. I think I said about 5%.
But the math is telling me, okay, so,
So the hard cost of 375 does not include architect fees, all of the soft costs, 18% that we add on.
right, so if you add 18%,
So-
we're at 442.
Correct.
Then where's the rest?
Now add 5% to that.
An additional 5%?
Correct, for escalation. So the elevator was done, is gonna be done this summer, was bid out now. We're hopeful that a year from now, we'll be able to do that project. So it's escalation.
So the 375 that we did earlier, did it include 18% soft cost already?
No,
It didn't.
no, the 375 was the contractor's bid.
So we have
Only.
additional 18%
Correct.
for that,
Well, yes.
okay.
So that would include advertising the bid, it would include architect, it would include construction managers, and then we have additional just for contingencies. So similar to the Candiac windows this past summer, there were unforeseen conditions with some of the steel when they began taking down the windows. And we had a change order associated with that.
Okay.
So unforeseen conditions in the elevator, original to the building, we don't know once you get in there and remove things, what exactly will be in there. So we budget for contingencies.
Okay, I understand you, I would like to thank you for helping getting the details from the architecture.
Yes, and I'm gonna get, that one I knew off the top of my head, I'm gonna get more details
Right,
on the other items,
that would be great, thank you.
okay?
Yeah. I know you're gonna move on to
Yep.
the next slide. I have a question for the bathroom.
Which one, okay.
Well, so for,
Are we on this one, or
I think it's on the next slide.
at Jackson?
The Jackson bathroom, right?
Go ahead.
So if you look at the Jackson bathroom, it says 466, 336. That's exactly the same dollar, down to the dollar amount for Cantiac and Siemens. So they have the exact same size?
So these are, I'll confirm this, but I don't believe these are,
It sounds like a copy and paste error, like we're.
it's not an error.
No?
So I have to confirm if these are, I don't believe these are the large, like, we used to call them gang bathrooms, where you have several, not like that, not like that.
You don't even know what I'm thinking.
Yes, I know what you're thinking. Where you have, for the kids, where you have several bathrooms in one area. So I have to check, I think these are the ones off the cafeteria, but let me double check that for you.
Okay, can we fix the detail in the description, because it says bathroom or corridor replaced summer 2024, what does that have to do with the new project?
Well, it's,
And
I think we were just trying to provide a description of where it was, but when I look at it now, it's the bathroom off the cafeteria, which is what I thought it was.
If you look at the description for Jackson and Cantiac and Siemens, they're all exactly the same thing.
All right, I'll take a look. I think they are the very similar in scope and size.
But we need to be specific, because, you know, we can't approve a budget if everything is very.
You are right, Mr. Jan, and I will follow up on that.
Thank you.
And again, the heating generating systems, we're at Ratner Seaman right now, plumbing fixtures. Again, this is for reconstruction to bathroom off the cafeteria as well. This is, it should say bathroom, it says plumbing fixtures, but it's all tied in together. Williams, we're just looking at 2 hallway toilets that we need to do handicapped accessibility. And high school, middle school, catch basin, exterior walls, middle school elevator, heating generating system, and the pool locker room reconstruction. That's the largest ticket item at the high school. So the top part is all of the projects added together, blue and yellow, and the bottom part is what we're recommending this year and totals all of the highlighted items. And the grand total is just under 6 million, and 4.7 will come out of a proposition out of the capital reserve, and 1,275 will come out of the annual budget. Any other questions on this right now? So now I'm going to turn it over to Desiree, Dave, and Shannon to talk about PPS. And thank you, SEPTA, for joining us today. Appreciate it.
Thank you. The right arrow. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for being here. Thank you to the Board of Ed, Dr. Gravitz, Central Administration, our beautiful SEPTA ladies, all of our building admin friends, our curriculum associate friends, Mr. Hartnett representing the teachers. We appreciate you all being here tonight. We thank you always for your continued support of our special education students. The work that we do to support our diverse learners, as you know, is not done in isolation. It's the result of collaboration, partnership, and really a shared belief that all of our students can succeed in every possible way. So we're so happy to have you as our partners. It is a budget workshop, so we'll be hearing a lot about numbers and fiscal and all of that. But I just want to remind everybody that behind all of those numbers, it represents some really resilient students and a collective community effort to support those students as they achieve pretty amazing post-secondary outcomes. So this slide right here just represents really the robust structure of the PPS department. We have many roles that are supporting all of our students across the district. The places that you see no change really represent a stability, an eye to making sure that we are supporting our students adequately, but a fiscal responsibility to make sure that we're always keeping an eye on that bottom line. We also have a couple of places where it does say as needed. Certainly those areas our students, their IEPs really dictate the changing, the changing needs, the learning center instructors and the teacher aides. Those are very closely linked to any CSE decisions at any given time, so it's hard to just really always say exactly how many that we have. So before we continue on with some of the other numbers and statistics, I would like to invite Shannon and David to talk about the special ed programs and offerings that we have throughout the district.
Good evening, everyone. Let me see if I can work the clicker. There we go. So as Desiree just went over some of our PPS staff that we have, so they of course help us run many of our varying special education programs within the district from kindergarten to 12th grade. So when we're talking about some of the programs that we offer at all levels, the co-teaching programs, resource room, consultant teacher, and then of course our related services, reading, speech, physical therapy, occupational therapy, counseling, anything that our kids need. Obviously we have a provider there to support their needs. In terms of our programs and where they're placed in each building, everything is staying status quo for next year. Again, continuing with the 2 small classes at Caniac Elementary, the 2 small classes at Jackson, and the one at Ratner Seaman. Again, all the programs at the middle school, high school are staying the same in terms of offering the small classes, the 15-1, the co-teaching, along with the array of services, the resource room, reading, speech, and all of that. We did hire a new behavior consultant this year, so we welcome Dr. Komisky. This year, he's been a great addition to the new to the PPS department. Really adjusted amazing with the students, the staff, and of course the families. And we also have our AAC consultant, and always bringing in our reading consultant and PD for our staff, so they are obviously using the best research-based programs to provide all of your kids each and every day.
Before you go, can you just
Sure.
start, like the 12-1-2,
I understand what 15 to 1 is, what's 12 to 1 to 2?
So 12 would be the max 12 students, 1 teacher, and then 2 classroom aides.
Got it, so the high school and middle school don't have any classroom aides, it's just 15, it's just smaller classes.
Correct. So this New York State provides us different guidelines of varying sizes for small classes that we're allowed to choose from based on profiles of students. So at Caniac, they are 8s, 8-1-2s. So the max can be 8 students, 1 teacher, 2 classroom aides. The students at Caniac are our most intensive needs classes. So our students really do require a lot of support in a smaller, more specialized program.
And what are the numbers at Jackson and Seaman?
They're 12s.
They're 12s.
Mhm. Here's David.
How you doing, guys? I just want to also add, just to Sam's question, the 12-1-2s are also sections of our highest need students. So it's the non-diploma bound, alternatively assessed students. So they get more hands-on support to make sure that we're meeting their needs in the middle and high school.
And in high school, we have one of those classes?
In the middle and the high school, we both have one section each. High school has 2 age groups, so it is 2 sections, middle school has 1. And that actually brings me to this slide, which really is going to talk about the skills class. The skills class really is a space where we're teaching some of the highest needs students life skills, daily skills, so that they can leave the system and have functional skills to then move on in life, whether it be living independently, retaining a job, and all the skills needed to be functioning in society. One of the best things that we did this year, one of my favorite parts, is changing the vocational program. We actually brought in Frontier, replacing the old providers, and we're kind of redoing it where we're really giving them more modern, hands-on experience. So through SEPTA's ordering different catering items, we get the students to work in the kitchen facilities, so they're actually physically making things, but in that process, they're also learning. Measuring, processing, what do they order? So all the skills needed in the creation of some of the treats that we've had in our meals are all done in that program. Of course, ordered mostly through the SEPTA grant people, which is amazing. Also, Cool Beans, we opened up an actual cafe space, so we kind of made it a little bigger. It represents a real life situation that a child would go into, so they have a better transition from the school space to a real life space. So stocking, taking orders, working with people, communication skills, all those things that are being developed are really to support the child from moving from high school to secondary vocational spaces. So the new name of the lab is Skillfully Made. Some of the items that are being sold through that program will be branded Skillfully Made. I think it's just a way for our students to then say, I made that item, or recognize a shirt, the PS I Love You shirts for tomorrow were made through the Skillfully Made program. So they pressed and made shirts that were then sold to some of the students to represent the PS I Love You program tomorrow, which will be fun. I bought my own, although I bought the white one, not the purple one. The after-school socialization programs with the program is actually really big too. We actually have Independent Thinkers that is run by Dr. Goldstein and Mr. Carmen. The Best Buddies programs for the high school and the middle school is run by Ms. Umili and Ms. Stern. And we also have the Unified Sports, thanks to Mr. Kornblum. We have Teresa Cantwell, who does the basketball, and Aisha Braylon, who's doing the bowling, which is currently now. I went to see them this morning, or after school, and it was amazing. I also want to thank, this is not going to show up on the slide, but I just want to make sure I throw this out there. Noteworthy and Cool Beans had an annual sing-along during the holiday seasons where the Noteworthy group, a cappella group, comes and sings holiday songs. Our students also participate in some of the songs while they sell hot chocolate and other little treats to the students while they're listening and kind of participating in the community. So we try to embed them as much as possible and just have them enjoy the high school experience. Thank you.
I don't even know, is this working?
Yeah.
Okay. Just to go over some of the other things under the PPS department, in case you guys are bored over February break, if you wanted to look on the website, there is a PPS link with all the information and all the varying continuum of special education and all the programs that we do offer. We are continuing our partnership with Northwell collaborative, which is for our students that are in need of some mental health support. So we are continuing that partnership next year. We also work with varying agencies such as OPWDD and Access VR, really helping our students in high school transition to life after high school and what am I gonna do, where am I gonna work, where am I gonna live, all those important things. Mr. Carmen is an amazing resource. He is one of our special education facilitators who wears many hats. So one day he's in our preschools, visiting our CPSE students, and the next minute he's sitting in a CSE really guiding our 11th and 12th graders for life after Jericho, which is super important. And last but not least, these wonderful ladies that are sitting here, our board for our SEPTA, they're amazing. I feel like in the past couple of years, you ladies have quickly just turned SEPTA around, and it is the cool place to be and for Jericho, but I really just want everyone to understand that really SEPTA is for all children, and they really have made a conscious effort to be inclusive for everybody, and the things that they have done the past couple of years have been amazing, whether it is bringing in guest speakers to really help parents with things at home or different tips and summer camps and things like that, doing amazing fundraising. All the money just goes directly back to the students, whether it's bracelet sales and our cookies and canvas and robotics night and chess night has become the biggest hit out there. So I thank you ladies for all your work, your dedication, and I really encourage everyone to just really get involved because it's such a wonderful organization, and thank you so much. And last but not least, their teacher grants. They really do sponsor some amazing teacher grants, and some of the most amazing things that go in the classrooms each and every day. And I asked, where'd you get that? And they said the SEPTA grant. One of the classrooms has a little Peloton bike for the kids to take movement breaks, and they can read while they're taking their movement bike in the back of the classroom, and it was purchased by SEPTA. So many of the amazing things that are going on in our school every day have been bought by our wonderful SEPTA board. So again, thank you again for everything. And now we're gonna get to the boring stuff, the numbers.
Which is when they give the mic back to me. 2 quick plugs. If you haven't already joined SEPTA, you're listening out there in the world, please consider joining SEPTA. And also the teacher grant window is still open right now, so we're collecting any applications for those teacher grants. They are then presented later in the spring at a board meeting. So the meat and potatoes here, these are our enrollment numbers for our children with special needs, any of our classified students. So you can see we have the Beds Day numbers from 2024, and here we have October 25. So currently we have 287 classified students. That includes our LUHI students. LUHI is in the Jericho confines, so we service all of their students that have IEPs as well. 270 of those classified students are serviced in our in-district buildings, and 17 of them are in out-of-district settings. Sometimes our students require specialized support that we are not able to provide them in our buildings here, and that's when we look at an outside-of-district setting. Those students are still very much a part of our community. We care deeply about them and their families, and we invite them to be a part of any of the other activities, extracurriculars that occur so that they can remain connected to us.
Of the 270, how many are Lehigh versus how many are Jericho students?
I should have had that number for you. I think LUHI is about 20-something. But
I'll follow
I'll
up
get
the
it for you.
details and so I'll remind you tomorrow.
Thank you. And our preschool students are also there, 27 preschool students. Mr. Carmen does oversee those students, and he works closely with Shannon as we transition them and prepare them to come into kindergarten. She has been doing visitations of all of our preschool students the last couple of weeks as we prepare for annual reviews so that we can appropriately place them as they come here for kindergarten.
And that 270 is all the way from high need to the most basic.
Mm-hmm. Everybody classified, so related services only, all the way to out of district. And then these are our 504 numbers, so we have the 3-year trends here. So as you can see, we're pretty consistent. Right now we have a total of 138 students with 504s. So these are our students that require accommodations only, different from our CSC students who require special education programming and services.
Are you able, from the confidentiality standpoint, if I were to send you an email asking for the breakout by grade in the high school?
Yeah.
That would you be able to give that?
Yeah.
And I know we've had the conversation in the past, privately and publicly here. Explain to me why the numbers spike as a percentage so much between elementary and middle and high school.
So we tend to believe that as they move up into the ranks of the middle school, the rigor really increases. And so some of our students who are able to get by with compensatory strategies or masking some of those deeper needs, it really starts to present as the rigor increases, as the demand of moving between classes, those executive functioning pieces. So that's one part. And then another part is we often see some of those mental health, the anxiety, the ADHD really manifesting. So many of our students with 504s, that's kind of where the bulk of their need comes from. So as, again, rigor, pressure, all that increases, we sometimes see the manifestation of that more often.
For the first group, the rigor group, is there something we could or should be doing earlier on to identify those kids to potentially help them at that point so that later on they don't need as much?
I think we are. We really do a lot of preventative work. One of the things that we are hoping to do next year is implement we're going to call it Brain Builders, an OT and speech push-in into the kindergarten classroom. So that's a really early start in trying to alleviate some of those maybe precursor pieces. But we do so much RTI work. I think it's just that when you get to that point and all of a sudden you go from one classroom all day with one supportive teacher to now 9 different periods, very supportive teacher still, but it's a lot.
I think it's too the nature and the culture of the community that we're here. It's a very competitive and high-performing district, and as the kids get older and, you know, in middle school and high school, they start to feel the pressure more of college and, you know, being accelerated and being in AP classes. And so unfortunately, we can't, as adults, control the community, right? In terms of that, we can do what we can from kindergarten up, and we are doing in, you know, push in SEL lessons and, you know, all types of, you know, building level support that we do at the elementary level constantly. But the reality is that we are a high performing district, and kids value that and they want to do well, but sometimes things do happen, and, you know, it causes anxiety.
So you have anxiety, you're diagnosed as a 504, what are the services we provide for
There's no
that?
services on a
What
504.
are
There could be-
what do we provide for 504s?
There's a whole litany of accommodations. You know, oftentimes we'll see things like extended time for assignments, teacher check-ins, some of those executive functioning pieces, ways to help a kid organize themselves, copies of class notes, kind of areas where, again, if you're sitting
For
in
anxiety?
If you're sitting in a classroom and your anxiety is racing, I'm not paying enough attention to get all my notes down, and if I miss a note, I have to catch up and go back. And so things like that, if we can take some of those pressures off, then the student can now really attend to the teacher speaking and not worry about, wait, I didn't do those other 4 things, and also I didn't do the thing for the last class. So
And there's also a portion of the 504 students that is medically based, so basically diabetics would be followed under the 504 process.
Fully understand.
They may not get any accommodations, but it's part of the plan, part of our number.
Got it. Thank you.
Can you educate me, what is 504? I have no idea what it is.
So 504 it comes out of the American with Disabilities Act. So it's students who require accommodations if they have a medical or physical impairment that substantially limits a major life activity. Different than classified students who require specially designed instruction within a classroom.
And
And
we
then-
get no state aid for 504s, right? We just get state aid for IEPs?
Yeah, high cost students. This is a slide where we're particularly proud of our postgraduate plans. So as we talked about earlier, our kids are navigating their own journeys, but as you can see, they come out with really amazing outcomes. So last year we had 25 exiting seniors that were classified. Of those 25 seniors, 20 of them received diplomas, 19 Regents diplomas and 1 local diploma. We had a couple of students who are moving on to 4-year colleges. Oh, I'm sorry, I read that wrong. No, I didn't. 4-year colleges, 2-year colleges, and then we have a few post-secondary opportunities otherwise. The 2 adult services, they received a skills and achievement credential. Those are our students that we were talking about, our most intensively needy high school students in the CASD program. And you can see at the bottom that of our diplomas, 62% of our classified students had an advanced Regents designation, so that's a very impressive number.
All these students would have been in small classes?
No, this could include related services only, ICT, resource room, small class, and our CASD students as well. I think that is the end of our portion.
Can I ask a quick
Miss-
question?
Yes, of course.
What did you mean by joint SEPTA, or who's that addressed to?
So SEPTA, like all of our other PTAs, we want all of our community members, our parents to join.
Sorry, I'm just confused, is SEPTA PTA or?
It's a separate PTA, it's a special education PTA.
Okay. But
So-
when you say join, like me join, or you're talking to, I couldn't tell if you're asking teachers or parents?
Everybody. It's we ask teachers, we ask parents, we ask everybody to join SEPTA the same way they join middle school PTA or Jackson
In the
PTA.
sense of like how, like, do you need help, or what's?
So you
what are
become a
asking?
member,
Yeah.
and then you have a membership fee. Everybody's invited to all of our events, but there are certainly things that members often participate more in volunteering opportunities and are part of some of the decision making.
So is it wrong to say, it seems you guys do more critical work?
I would not call it more critical. I think every PTA is critically important.
But I didn't know, so I guess it would be nice, considering there's a plethora of PTA messages that go out.
Mhm.
Maybe they could sprinkle in what SEPTA is separately and explain it to the public, because I had no idea, and I've been here 6 years now.
I'm sorry that you,
Can I say something? So each of our each of our buildings have their own PTA. Each of the buildings have their own PTA, so wherever your child goes to school, they have their PTA and they have their functions and activities within that building. SEPTA is district-wide, so whatever we do is for all of the children from K through 12. So if we're bringing in presentations, it's for K through 12. It's not just events for our building. If we have our chess event, it's just not happening, let's say, at Seaman.
But sorry to interrupt, but if I paid a SEPTA membership fee, it helps SEPTA, right?
Yes,
Okay, like, I'm advocating for it, meaning
thank you,
I would
yes.
give you money, but I didn't know I could give you money.
Yes,
Like,
so
okay,
we
that's
have
fine.
membership, we do have a link
Okay.
on the district website for membership. It's $14, and so we have membership, and then we also have donations.
Okay,
So
fair.
thank you.
So that's different from PTA, except
Yeah, because we're considered a district-wide PTA.
Okay, I didn't know that either.
Yeah.
and in the beginning of the year in the elementary schools, we do send home a backpack letter for the kids with SEPTA as well.
Oh,
We didn't do it in the middle school and high school.
I promise you, this is for you guys, it's getting lost in translation. I can tell you the next boba tea sale, but I have no idea what it is.
I appreciate that. We will advertise more. Thank you.
And Mr. Bahraini is hard to please on the PTA front, so it's.
But I mean, it seems like they're, like,
They do a
They
lot.
do wonderful work,
They do
yes.
a lot of it.
I'm just saying, like, I think you guys.
Thank you, Desiree, thank you, Dave, thank you, Shannon, for your presentation. Provided a lot of feedback. Maggie Rose, I want to thank Maggie Rose because she just went and printed the correct presentation that she's going to hand out now to everyone that you can follow with the rest of the presentation. I'm going to go over the actual codes now. That my colleagues were just. I'm going to go over the codes now that my colleagues were just talking about. I did want to look a little closer at a couple of codes. Small class and co-teachers. So this year we did a deep dive into the secondary levels, 7 through 12. Elementary, it's easy. You have a co-teacher. You either have a co-teacher or you don't have a co-teacher. At the secondary level, you have .2s, .4s, .6s going from co-teaching to small class, and depending on the year, there are a lot of changes associated with that, just because of the nature of the secondary level. So you'll notice that I increased small class, and at the same time, I decreased co-teaching to make it a little more realistic to what's actually going on. In total, the dollars are there budgeted for any small class or co-teacher that we had, but we just wanted to fine tune it a little bit for this budget and future budgets. Down towards the bottom, you're going to see some of the 400 codes, specifically tuition private and BOCES tuition and tuition public. So tuition public, we don't have any students attending any programs in another public school at this point, and we don't anticipate any. We did reduce that to 0 in order to make up for the private school tuition, which increased pretty substantially with a couple of high-need students that moved into the district in the last couple of years, and similar with BOCES as well. So I just wanted to provide a little background on some of the changes in some of the individual codes.
what is the reason why, because I'm looking at 24, 25 for BOCES, 1.57 million.
Yeah.
And then 25, 26, it dropped 70,000, and
Well,
this year.
20, last year, it was based on what we actually spent in the year. This year, we budgeted 1.5 million. We're probably gonna be closer to about 1.6, 1.7 in that area. And then next year, we're budgeting 1.8. So, and this totals, and you'll see it on a future slide. Let me see if I can pull that one up now. Here it is. So if you look at BOCES, that's only 10 actual students plus 3 contingency. You 2 kids move out, 2 kids move in, that makes hundreds of thousands of dollars just in that one code.
Okay.
So that's the reason you're gonna see something go up sharply in that area and something go down sharply in that area, okay? The public, again, we're not anticipating any. We don't have any currently, and there's no one out there that we know of that would fit into that category. If you look at private, 5 students plus 2 contingency, again, we did have a couple of very high-need residential move into the district over the last couple of years, and we saw a spike in that.
If you go back to the prior slide, is there any way here to break out between IEP versus 504 costs?
No. A lot of the 504 is general ed. It's not necessarily out of this budget. Desiree, am I accurate in that?
For most of these, it would. Occasionally, we have a 504 student who receives a service, OT, for example, so there might be a very bare minimum for the most part.
So there's not a lot of costs associated with 504?
No, unless it's a medical student who maybe needed a nursing combination.
And I would say 95 is IEP driven. 95%? Yeah, easily. 98%. Out of this budget.
No, I understand.
Yeah.
Well, what are the, oh, you're talking about the general ed?
Correct.
So what 504 costs would show up in general ed? And I know we're doing general ed next time, but. Or
Occasionally,
is there a cost associated with 504s?
counseling services, again, an occasional occupational therapy. A 504 student could have an aide, both safety or medical, and then nursing services. We do have some.
So you could have an aide even without an IEP? You could have
Yeah,
an aide
under
just with
504. Health and safety.
Do we have any of those, or you're saying we could have those? Or maybe we have some?
I'm sure we do for medical. I'm
I
sure
don't know if
we
I can answer that.
Okay.
But health and safety aides would sometimes fall under
We've,
504.
at some point in the past 10 years we've had.
Yes.
There we go. And so that's the cost, and what are the other costs that could be associated with 504?
Nursing, if we had a student who required a nurse for a seizure disorder, on a bus or on a field trip, we have our building nurses, but we would need an additional nurse for that sometimes. Again, counseling or OT could be on a 504, some related services.
What do you mean by counseling?
So counseling services, again, that anxiety component, there's other diagnoses that might drive a 504.
That
so
would
it's
fall
good,
more
like
under psychologist, social worker? or-
Psychologist, social worker, mental health,
And OT, so as a 504, you could get OT as a,
yeah, as a related service.
and that would be mostly younger kids, or is that or is that through from?
Usually
K through
younger,
12?
and it's rare. Typically, if you require a related service, we really move towards an IEP, but there are some kids who just need some accommodations and a little bit of OT.
So really, for 504, the only key real cost is gonna be medical. If there's a medical
For the most
issue,
part.
regardless of what kind of medical, it's really gonna be that.
And you can get a temporary 504. So a student who breaks their leg,
Yes.
they would need services. So you would classify them with a 504 under the American Disabilities Act for that time period. And as long as there's a treatment plan, that's how you do it.
And oftentimes we'll do a health plan in lieu of that to not have to open the 504 and then close the 504.
Thank you.
Any other questions on this slide? Okay, great. I'm going to briefly go back to the riveting compensation on bathrooms. I didn't realize Mr. Hahn was here. I spoke with Mr. Hahn. The 3 elementary schools, correct me if I'm wrong, the bathrooms that we're looking at are, I'm going to say even more than similar, almost identical in size. The multi-stall bathrooms, the girls are 3, which will be going to 2 because one is going to be handicapped. The boys are currently 3 with the urinal, and we'll go to 2 with the urinal because of the, we're going to make one handicapped accessible. But they're all almost identical in the 3 buildings. So I just wanted to,
So they're almost identical down to the dollars of.
I told you I will get back to you on that, but when I met with Mike, they're pretty much identical in all three of the elementary schools.
If you can give me the size and square
Sure,
footage.
of course. We went over this slide, and now we're gonna move on to the contractual services. That is pretty much staying flat year over year. What these are additional services for the PPS department and our students that are outside of our staff and our employees. Moving on to health services, these are our nurses district-wide, and as well as we hire a nurse for LUHI, which we bill back to the districts for the students that go to LUHI that live in other districts.
I know
Sure.
this isn't your area of expertise at all, but is there some, not for tonight, don't worry about it, it's not even.
Sure, okay. Moving on to guidance, these are our district-wide guidance counselors. Next year, we are adding a +1 elementary counselor. Cheers, something. I know that has been a budget topic for this is the third year, and we are adding it in this year. We have it in the guidance code. Depending on who we hire, it may move to a social worker code, it may stay in the guidance code. We haven't chosen anyone yet, so once we go through that, a year from now, you may see this decrease and then social workers increase, but it depends on who we hire.
Can I ask a quick question?
Sure.
That's for, is there, I think there's a floating counselor for elementary?
Yes, we currently have one elementary counselor that we introduced, I think, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, something like that. 4 years ago? 3 years ago. Yeah, about 3 years ago. Yes, she was one for the 3 buildings. It was the first one we ever had. We'd never had one before. And she's doing great work at the elementary schools. And we are going to add an additional one so it'll lighten the load for the one that we currently have. And we'll provide more services to the 3 elementary schools.
But, I don't have the hierarchy in front of me.
Sure.
Each school has a role, and then the counselor was like with one of the schools, I forgot which one.
You mean, how was her schedule split up?
In the org chart, there,
The org chart, there's just one direct line for her at Jackson or something like that.
I forgot, but there's a.
No, she served all 3 schools, and obviously Jackson and Candiac have many more students than Radnor Seaman. So I think, correct me if I'm wrong, someone, but I thought it was 2 days and 1 day?
Right, but you have to.
Unless there was a situation happening in that one particular building where she needed to spend more time.
She was over three buildings. However, in an org chart, you have to identify somewhere. So it was identified originally when she was first hired 3 years ago in one building, but she has been working in
And then the
3.
second person will get identified somewhere, but they're gonna be splitting across.
Correct.
So now 2 over 3.
But if I'm not, if I wasn't thinking about this, but there's like school psychologists, I think, or something in each of the elementary schools?
Each elementary school has one psychologist.
And just, sorry if this is a
No worries.
question, but what's the difference between what the psychologist does and what the counselor does in terms of like responsibilities?
I'm gonna let Desiree answer that because
Greg wants to chime in.
Yes.
I know, but I don't want to mess it up.
Our psychologists do service all of our students, but IEP mandated services are typically done by a psychologist, so IEP mandated counseling. And then they also serve really as the front lines of major crises. So the guidance counselors are capable of that, but our psychologists are trained with, that's
Okay,
expertise.
thank you, great.
And Greg, why don't you?
Yeah, no, it's the same, to reiterate that, the psychologists also do testing evaluations for students, identifying students with special needs. The counselors do not do testing and evaluation like they do. The role that Ms. Wong, our current elementary counselor in her 3rd year now, has been a very proactive role serving the needs of a larger number of students, not just needs students in crisis, not students necessarily just with special needs, but to try to give a broader range of kids the skills they need to be successful there.
Okay, has there just never been a need for a one-to-one counselor in each of the schools? I'm just trying to understand like what the.
One step at a time.
No, fair, okay.
Okay.
I mean, this is the time.
Psychologists, social workers, that's next.
There was a request, Victor,
what-
there was a request
I'm
already
sorry.
for 2. So step by step, we add to a budget because there's all the costs that are associated with it. So to answer your question, they started with one, now we're getting to two, and ideally, in any district, you'd want to have one in each building. But budgetarily, you have to manage programs and everything else as well, so it takes time, but we will.
And expanding it actually is credit to the current elementary counselor that we have. She's done really amazing work in the 3 elementary schools to the point where she needs help at this point, so that's what we're providing. This slide is the psychologists and social workers. No change in FTEs, again, except for my caveat later, depending on who we hire for the elementary counselor at a later point.
And you're adding one to high school? Or no?
We are not.
No, okay.
This is library and media. FTEs are not changing district-wide. And the amounts are here. Again, no significant changes in this area of the budget. Upcoming meetings, March 3rd, we're going to do general education. We're going to do technology. We are going to do athletics. We are going to do transportation and benefits. And then March 12th, we're going to do a full budget review of revenues and expenditures, as well as highlights from all of our buildings district-wide. March 26th is the adoption. Any final questions? Great, thank you. We will see you just a week after the break. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Emanuel. Thank you, SEPTA parents, for coming tonight. You may want to make a run for it. We're going to get into policy now. So, thank you very much. Any events coming up for SEPTA that we need to advertise right now? What's the next event that we need to talk about?
Movie night on March 31st,
March 31st, movie night at which school?
here,
At the middle school.
middle school, high school, and then, April Our Abilities Month, and hopefully we've got some surprises coming and some awesome events going on.
Perfect. March 31st, movie night. What movie? Do we know yet? Is it a surprise?
Hasn't been announced.
Hasn't been announced yet. Hasn't been announced yet. We thought we could get breaking news, but we're not tonight from Ms. Amato. No problem. No, it's okay. Before we move into policy, we are going to opportunity for the public to be heard. If you would like to make a comment or ask a question, please approach the microphone, tell us your name, and if you are representing a specific group, your affiliation. If you would like your statement to be included in our board minutes, you must hand a written copy of your remarks to our district clerk, Victor Manuel, before leaving tonight. As always, public discussion on matters related to staff and students during which their reputation, privacy, or right to due process, or those of others, could in some way be violated is prohibited.
Sure. Hold on. Oh, there is a mic. Sorry.
But clarify the, because just out of respect to the staff part, right?
Talk to the man at the end. I think he's saying he needs to clarify.
I've sent it, I
Yes.
revised it and cut it a little bit, and I've sent an advanced letter for the board to read, so I guess my first question is, has the board read my letter?
Yes.
Just want to turn the microphone on.
Ronnie, go speak for me.
Yes. Is it not?
I'll get it for you.
Sorry.
Let Joe speak.
Thanks. So, just again, out of respect, has the board read the letter? And, because I don't wanna just go, I don't wanna go into what you just said in terms of talking about, in terms of bringing up staff or a name or something, if that's gonna violate the rule you just cited. So just,
Well, I just had it. I of course read your letter the day I got it. Did I read it with the intent of seeing whether or not it was going to violate that? I will fully admit I did not. Did you happen to read it that way? Remind me, does it name
Okay.
specific, does it name specific individuals?
It does, so let me pause there, right? Just
Okay.
because I don't wanna, because again, apparently, there are names in it, so I don't wanna cause an issue. So let me step back and just broadly talk about my problem, because you guys have my letter, and I
Yes.
won't name names, but I think in general, I'll talk about my problem. I'm gonna leave this here, but I'm not turning it in for the minutes. Okay.
Wait, we'll check. What, one piece of information we just want to add before you get to it.
So there was, obviously there's some concerns that were expressed and we are addressing them at the next board meeting. There'll be a presentation by high school administration on the process and how things go when it comes to creation of clubs and how we go through that process of determining which clubs are offered. And that should answer a lot of the questions that were presented.
So, fair enough.
That being said, whatever you do.
But yeah, I will take the time just to speak on this because I do want, I guess whoever's watching or everybody to hear my issue with it. And my daughter's graduating this year, my oldest. And obviously, you don't know what you don't know, but clubs are important and activities are important and nonprofits are important and all these different things that they have to do to stand out for colleges is important, right? So you either find that externally in organizations and do it on your own time, or you join student body and become president, vice president, etc., or you start a club or join a club and try to become an officer. But slots are obviously limited and they're commoditized against, and this is no disrespect to kids that are overachievers, but not everybody can manage being an athlete, being president, being head of a club, being like all of the things, right? Not everybody can do that. And I think hearing SEPTA talk today, every kid is different. This year, my daughter, one of my younger daughters, decided to start a club. Wasn't something I pushed, it's something she wanted to do. And she had two ideas. One, we held off because it's related to Regeneron and she needed to talk to the science department to get an understanding if what she was trying to do is feasible. The second she wanted to do because that's what she wanted to do. So she went through the process and preemptively submitted an application before the application was even released. And that started the process. Well, we can't accept this, we're gonna give you the application. Application was sent out to the student body. She filled it out, turned it in. There was dates associated with it. There was specific timelines associated with it and a process. And nowhere in that process was there that there's a competition, there's a limited number of open spaces for clubs, there's a rubric, or any of those other guidelines. The timelines weren't followed correctly, which is one problem. And I think this is an important problem because what you tell students all the time to follow the timelines they're given and grow up and prepare for college and all this stuff. And then adults are essentially setting the same timelines and aren't following the exact same timelines they put out as part of the rules. The second is the rules are written. And in this scenario, through my FOIL process and the limited amount of information I got based on the requested documents, it exposed that the rubric was created after the fact. It was created and approved after the actual release of the application and the students receiving it. Fast forward, I believe the FOIL request showed 33 students, and I should say it impacts more than 33 because my assumption is each of the students that filled out an application had people that wanted to join with them. So you could probably multiply that by 4, 5, 6, if not more people that wanted to be a part of the club and be a part of the leadership of a club. So it affects hundreds of students. The results or the decision to what clubs would be permitted, according to the application, was, I believe it's like some sort of probationary period, or you're going to become a club. After the fact, it was decided only 2 clubs were going to be selected because 2 no longer existed or had dropped off, and that's all there was room for in terms of the number of clubs and budget. The number of club rule is nowhere in any policy. And I trust me when I say this, I've read every single policy this district has. It doesn't exist. So that was arbitrary. The second is budget. And trust me when I say this, there's no budget line item, and I think you could ask Mr. Manuel. There's no budget line item that restricts how many actual clubs you can have. So that's my second problem. So again, arbitrary ceilings and parameters set in place. 2 clubs were selected, and one of the pieces of the application, it fills a need, and one of the clubs that was selected was AI. I know AI, and anybody fundamentally understands AI is computer science. You code, you create AI. There are multiple clubs and service organizations in the school, including classes, that already fill that need. So the fact that that club got accepted and 31 others were rejected, and this is not me talking about my daughters, 31 others were rejected, and AI does not fill a new need, because as everybody knows, computer science and engineers are going towards AI, their jobs are getting replaced by AI, and the fundamental next step for the computer science club and robotics and all that is to institute AI within those clubs. So there's absolutely zero need for that club to be awarded if there was such a thing as 2 clubs. If you take the other 31 clubs, and I do take issue with the other one that won, but there are probably 8 to 12 clubs that legitimately, and I'm gonna full disclosure, my daughter's isn't one of the 8 to 12. So I'm saying this because if I'm objectively ranking them, my daughter's club wouldn't have objectively won any slot in the top 15. That's okay. But the top 8 would have been any other of those 8 clubs that students filled out applications for, besides the 2 that were selected. My issue is, I submitted a FOIL request, and I asked for proof that the votes occurred, proof of the actual documents that showed the scoring, and proof that there was a count and it came out to what it is. My opinion is it was a biased process or fundamentally flawed process. Whether by intent or by accident, there was very little thought put into the overall ramifications of this. Because one, you're impacting kids who took a step forward to create something that helps them get into school. They're not doing this because they're bored. They're doing this with intent to go somewhere. So now you've stunted that growth by a year, and they have to wait till the following year to then attempt again and hope that they get in. Or hope that someone drops off from a leadership role to go join it. So I take issue with that. Because of all the things that the budget should be focused on, our kids is the last piece. Because we allow organizations to be in this school, PTA, others, use facilities, no issues. We should accommodate as many clubs as possible, and if it's not possible, then we should write it out so that kids understand, here's the roadmap for clubs, and here's how you can exist. Because we can't let them sit there and waste 3-4 months trying to open a club, get denied, now what? Go open up a side club? Go find another organization? It's just a bad precedent that's been set. So if it's being changed, great, but I fully believe that an investigation should occur, a detailed one. The findings should come out. At minimum, the 31 students or more impacted by this decision should be given some sort of information to understand why they didn't get in, besides budget and we only had 2 slots. Because if you don't know why you didn't win, how can you go and put your best foot forward next time? Very simple. The rubric didn't exist. So my other issue is the fact that the FOIL process, which is intended for public to get information from the district, was not followed. And it's been documented extensively in my letters, and the board can read it and look at it. And I'm not sure if it's, no offense, the law firm deciding that the scores can't be given to us, but it's insulting that we refuse to show, at minimum, redacted versions of the scoring sheets on who scored what, how it ranked, and the justification for why the 2 that got selected, and the 31 didn't. Everything is redacted and hidden, nothing is mapped, the FOIL requests were insufficient, and the fact that my appeal was denied, that these don't exist, is even further insulting, because that says the vote never happened. We chose 2 clubs. Deal with it. That's my fundamental issue with this process, nothing more. I won't read this out, you guys have read it, and I won't turn it in for the agenda. So, minutes.
First of all, I appreciate very much the way you presented that and leaving people's names out of it. As you said, the board received it, and based on the analysis that you presented, and again, we're gonna hear in a couple weeks from high school administration about what they believe or how it happened. Based on what you sent us, it certainly seemed like it could have been run and planned better. the transparency, again, I understand the frustration. As you can tell, the superintendent is being responsive. It's why I believe in 2 weeks after break, we are gonna have a presentation from high school administration to discuss this process further, and we can ask more questions and understand how it does. And I would be deeply disappointed if there are any deficiencies discovered or things that we could have done better. I would certainly not expect any of that to recur going forward. And every other point you made, you know, we take to heart. The most important one, it sounded like, was, first of all, how this process is run and what information can still be gathered or returned to the students if their presentations can be better or not in the future. But hopefully, it's the 29th, our next meeting? 26th. There is no 29th this year, sorry, yes, not a leap year. So on the 26th, hopefully a bunch of those questions will be answered, and I can assure you that, well, I expect at that meeting, all 5 of the board members will be asking questions and making sure that the issues that you raised in your letter and your presentation tonight get addressed, but recognize the first step we needed to do was gather information as the superintendent, and that's why we're having as full a public disclosure about that process as we can on the 26th.
But can you, and I can go to the microphone if you need me to, but can you, at some point as the board, commit to validating that the actual ballots or whatever it is exist to create the vote, the record? Like, that's the problem I have is, if they, the FOIL appeal asked for that, the FOIL asked for that, the FOIL denial essentially says they don't exist, right? So if they don't exist, I'm just trying to understand how you expect you're gonna reconcile the situation and prove that a vote actually took place.
Sitting here today, I do not know the answer to that question, but yes, I can commit to saying I'm gonna ask that question, and we will hopefully get a clear answer that we will be able to share with everyone.
And I will say, this is,
Yeah, well, we public, when I say share with everyone, I mean, it will be, I'm sorry, I'm trying to be, yes, I always get scolded regardless of what I say, public, it will be public.
I just wanna ask, you mentioned about you FOIL for the rubric, right? And you were denied for that?
no, so I received the rubric,
Or you see-
but in the FOIL, the rubric was created after the club packet was sent out to be filled out. The rubric didn't exist. No kid knew about it, no one knew there was some sort of scoring mechanism around. First of all, with all due respect, the rubric's flawed,
Okay.
but it didn't exist until after the application went out. And the reality is, kids know what rubrics are, they take tests every week. If you don't know what the rubric for an application is, how can you make sure that your application meets the rubric's standards?
And you mentioned because I don't know any of these, you mentioned you got, lawyer said, what did you say about?
No, so what I'm saying is, I don't know whose decision it is to deny my appeal,
Okay,
but all I ask for is for the ballot proof that the votes occurred. In any democratic process, a vote occurs and you can inspect the vote. It's literally the bedrock of this country. There's no vote that occurs without proof that the vote occurred. Here, the vote occurred, 33 selections have, 33 were vote ranked, and 2 won. There's no proof that that vote occurred. And if it doesn't exist, that's a problem. If it does exist and wasn't turned over to me, I take problem with that. And the last thing I wanna do is be a problem for the district, but you're forcing my hand over something so stupid that it's like, just inspect and prove it exists and end it, and let the kids know.
okay, all right, thanks.
We'll get that answer and it'll be public. The other issues you dealt with were passed in the letter. You talked about biases and things like that. Would you move on? We'll talk about that next month.
Again, just because you said what you said, out
Understood.
of respect, I'm gonna, if I need to bring it up next one, I will, but I won't read the letter, I won't bring it up. I think I've said my piece, and let's see what the board does.
We can talk about that too. Excellent.
Oh, actually, Steve, if he do request for the scores and everything, are we allowed to share?
It was denied. It's not, he doesn't have to answer.
It wasn't denied as free, it was denied as it doesn't exist.
Thank you. That's a problem.
So good.
Thank
already done. Anyone else? Any comments? Melissa, something? Ms. Pressman, nothing?
Just wondering how many clubs we have in high school. I even don't know, so that's, how many we have now?
We're gonna get you that exact number. We can estimate it, but we want exact, unless you came in person, you get exact numbers.
Oh, good, thank you. I have two.
You have too many questions?
I'll speak to Mr.
Oh, you don't wanna, but your questions would probably help the community, Ms. Pressman.
So basically, we have a certain number of clubs at high school, and then at the beginning of the school year, and we ask the students to make application for the clubs. So we got 33 or 32 last year, basically. But when the students submit the application, they don't know how many will be approved.
That is so far my understanding. One of the things was, and I don't want to steal any of high school administration's thunder of what they're going to be talking about, but there's a process that goes through where they look at clubs and see sometimes clubs just die away by natural causes. You know, students lose interest, students who are running it leave, they don't have it. And so there were 2 clubs that closed this year, and so when they did that, they accepted applications and they replaced those 2 clubs with new clubs. That was where the 2 came from, is my understanding today. That's why I don't want to speak too much about it, because I've only got a fraction of the information.
Okay, so I just.
But yes, but as
I
Mr.
just-
Barani said, when the students applied, it is my understanding they did not know that there were only going to be 2 slots.
Yeah, that's why I'm thinking, because 32 are, there's, you got the 32 applications, but the student applicants didn't know there's only 2 would be approved. That's my
And it's
question.
also a waste of the kids' time, frankly, because you could have had multiple clubs, there's probably 15 of them that could have merged into super clubs and submitted a very strong application with a larger member base. So the problem is, do you audit existing clubs? Because just because 2 dropped off, how many are useless clubs? And do you not tell them in advance, hey guys, like you 6 are kind of in the same ecosystem, maybe you should talk to each other and create a super club because it's a really good idea.
And I'm expecting most of those questions to be answered,
Fair
and
enough.
if
I'll
there
stop
are better
there.
solutions, that they will come, but I think this has given high school administration a great framework and list of questions that need to be answered on the 26th.
Thank you.
So, and as always, as with anyone in the community, where's that microphone?
We appreciate you bringing issues like this to our attention, because the 5 of us cannot be everywhere, as Mr. Chin has very proudly proclaimed to certain issues.
On the January 22nd agenda, there was a Schedule G, there were 29 clubs that were approved for the district, for the high school.
That existed already, not approved.
The only thing I have is 29 clubs, I don't know which ones that weren't existing.
No, in existence at that
Yeah,
time.
On
Just to
January
clarify,
22nd, there were 29 clubs that were assigned, and those.
We also have
people
service
were
companies.
identified.
Yeah,
And service companies.
it's more.
So we define them as clubs, and then there's the advisors next door on the it's public knowledge on the 22nd of January, that's where it is.
29 clubs plus service clubs. And we don't have any service clubs? About lots, right? Anybody can start a service.
Probably about the same number.
Really?
Maybe
Do
a
those,
little
do
less-
those
maybe a
need
little less.
advisors, service clubs?
Yeah.
What's the service called?
Honor Society's yearbook,
That's someone who's around a general idea. They're sort of.
I can give you the list of both next time.
We're gonna, 44 service clubs or total?
44 service, under that category, service function.
Wow.
Same agenda.
A lot of clubs. And I'm sure they'll talk about the audit process that you talked about, Mr. Barrini. Final chance. Well, you can always ask questions. We're just happy you're here. We're gonna close now, and we're gonna go into our policy. So, my notes go. I wanna make sure I get all this.
There's one donation before that, if you don't mind.
Oh, you wanna do the donation report? No problem. Ms. Citron, are you still with us? She is. New business, accept the donation from the JRRS, the Jeffrey Ratner Robert Seaman. I apologize, lost my place. I'm so excited about clubs. Acceptance donation, be resolved, the Board of Education accept the donation in the amount of $4,500 from the JRRS PTA for an author visit from Susan Verde on February 24th. Do I have a motion? Thank you, Mr. Jin. Mrs. Vardenoff, this is easy tonight. Any discussion? Thank you. All in favor? She can vote. You're in favor, Ms. Citron? Hand is up. We've got a 4-0 vote. And while we're here, in case there's we're hoping Dr. Balachandra is feeling a little better. And hopefully I haven't broken any laws by saying that. Never know. Okay. Not her doctor. Recommended motion. Be it resolved that the Board of Education accept the first reading of the following policies. Policies 1,110 through 1,650, 2,110 through 2,340, and 4,110 through 4,320.
Minus 1333.
Oh no, we can read it, just get rid of it. No, it's fine. Fine, minus 1333, but now he's gonna want an explanation as to why we're getting rid of
Doesn't apply
1333.
to allowance for
Well, we know why, everybody else knows. Anyway, wait, we need a motion first.
motion.
I think you want to explain these and these.
Well, I can't talk about it until we have a motion.
Okay.
Motion from Ms. Vardenoff, seconded by Mr. Jin. Now, we will jump into discussion. Just before we get started, let's have a quick refresher. Board policy is a set of broad written guidelines created by the Board of Ed to direct the district's actions, goals, and operating procedures. They represent the voice of the board, establishing a framework for district operations, providing guidance for staff, students, and community members. They address topics such as curriculum, budget, student rights, responsibilities, and personnel actions. As we announced earlier this year, the board is working to update the entire policy manual. We take the first big step tonight. As we announced a couple of months ago, we contracted with Erie Boces to help us in this process. We will be going page by page, comparing in many cases the Boces recommended best practices with our current policy manual and creating a document that is most appropriate for the Jericho School District. We want this process and the resulting document to be as transparent as possible. As always, during this discussion, we welcome community input and feedback on any policy. We expect to address different sections at meetings over the next few months. We hope to approve first reads of individual sections at each meeting. We will then look to complete a second read and adoption of all policies, the entire document simultaneously, and have a complete new policy manual in effect for the beginning of the next fiscal/school year on July 1st. I want to recognize and thank Central Office, particularly Miss Anne Marie Correa, who has been and will continue to be integral to this process, and without whose efforts, this would be even more laborious and painful. With that, why don't we start off with an easy thing? Tell us, Mr. Goodstadt, why we're getting rid of 1333, and then we'll jump in.
Sure, just before that, just for what was in the agenda, there seems to be an extra version of 1310. There's two different 1310s. The 1310 that the board is considering for first read is the second one, which is powers and duties of the board. 1310 regarding student voter registration and pre-registration is actually moving into the 7,000 somewhere. For some reason, it just got left behind. With regards to 1333, duties of the tax collector, in certain school districts, specifically upstate, they collect their own taxes. The Jericho Union Free School District, as well as all Nassau and Suffolk County school districts, do not collect taxes. Therefore, you don't need a policy on the duties of the tax collector because you don't have one. And that's why it should not be pushed forward tonight.
Perfect. When you get tired of listening, go get a drink of water, go to the bathroom, but please come back and join us for more. To my fellow board members, and actually to the audience, to expedite the process this evening and all evenings, I ask members to focus on content of the policy. Any comments on style, spelling, or formatting, I ask that you forward them to me and I will ensure that they are reflected in the document before our second reading. Alternatively, I will provide a written response. Happy to make it public as to why they have not been included, and you'll have the opportunity to raise them when we have the second reading. But let's focus on content, otherwise we will never get through this. What did I do wrong?
No, you did everything right, actually. Just a point of information with regards to when the second read is going to occur, it's going to have to be a wholesale second read at the end, only because part of this process is requiring the board to move around certain policies to make it flow. And if we delete policies in the interim, we might be removing policies that are required. So that's why everything, we're gonna do a first read tonight, but the second read probably will not be until end of June, early July, for that reason.
Are we allowed to ask questions?
Yes, absolutely. And once the board is finished with their initial comments, comments are completely appropriate, yes. Anything anyone wants to say, we have a large group, so just, take your time, we'll get a number of things for next time, but yes, any comments, shout them out, throw them at us, whatever you'd like. Let's bang it out. Starting off with 1,110. School District and Board of Education legal status and authority. Anyone? Comments? I am listening for you, Ms. Citron, if you have something. Thank you. She said she'll speak up when she does. Moving on to 1,120. Two quick questions, Mr. Goodstad. G, may not simultaneously hold another incompatible public office. Does that mean anywhere or just in Jericho?
In Jericho. For example, you cannot be an employee of the school district, and you cannot be in a certain position that, for example, dealing with money. You cannot work,
Can you be governor of New York and be on the school board?
What?
probably not enough time in the day.
Probably. This takes up a lot of time.
It does.
Got it. One more time, Mr. Citron? Should the word tax collector come out?
Well, we couldn't have the Nassau County tax collector serve in the position, so.
We might have the Nassau, oh, you can hear him, no problem. I thought I had to translate. Must not have been moved from a district office. That's just a board member, or that's anything? What is it? Else is that?
Correct, that's a board position.
Got it. We've never tried to move the board member. No. H, yes?
Yes, it's by law.
I don't hear anything.
I actually heard that.
Yes, it's by law. She's asking, can it be longer than that?
I mean, you could, this is the minimum requirement.
That's the minimum, so if we want to make it longer, we can make it longer. If the people want the person, the people elect the person. That's my view on it, but, I got a different view than most. Moving on to 1210.
I have-
Board members, nominations, and elections. Go ahead, Mrs. Martineau.
Yes, so this is, just making, there's a lot, so I'm just making sure I have the right one. So yes, regarding elections, my comment is, I think that we should add some sort of language which outlines petition information where a potential candidate must acquire the petition, if it can be done, if it has to be acquired through the school, and if not, can it be a blank piece of paper?
As long as it has all the information, it can be on.
So what is
whatever.
that information? We don't have that specified in here. I would like
Yeah,
to.
it says that you need to have just the name and address of the candidate, and then also the person signing has to have their name and address. I believe that's in there. I don't have it underlined in mine, but
Okay,
it's in there.
so name,
It's in the last sentence of that.
and a signature, like it has to be signed?
It has to be signed, it cannot be wet, it has to be wet signatures.
Yeah,
It cannot
petition
be-
must state the residence of
Okay.
each signer and the name and residence of each candidate.
Okay,
Does that include the people that have to sign it? Like if you're a candidate, you have to get other signatures.
Yes,
Correct, and the reason for that is when you're running for a Board of Ed trustee, you need to have support of the people who reside in the district in which you are serving. So their addresses are important as well as the address of the person who's running for the board.
Can you clarify if those individuals' household signatures require witness attestation?
They do not.
In letter,
but,
oh no, wait,
And
go ahead,
I'm-
Ms. Sitch, oh, wait, hold on, Ms. Sitch, Ms. Martin, I saw that.
I apologize,
No, go
I'm
ahead.
here when
Look at
Jill
your question.
speaks. So it has to be a signature, or the person just writes Jennifer Barton and that just counts? It has to be a signature?
It has to say Jennifer Bartnoff, 123 Main Street with Jennifer Bartnoff's signature.
Got it, thank you. No, that's all I have for
Does there
that.
have to be a date next to that?
Oh, yes, I
Jennifer
do have-
Martinoff
I'm sorry?
signature?
Oh, no date?
Because it's,
I don't think,
I don't,
no,
no.
because you have to
You're
hand it,
asking
you
for
have to
the-
hand it in.
so
So you,
the
can I
candidate fills it out, sorry, if you wanna go.
clarifying question? The date of the resident that's signing it on behalf? No.
Isn't it that the resident's signature must be within the, I think, 30 days?
30 days before the petition is
Right.
due.
So how do you know that those signatures were actually within that window?
No, it's gotta be submitted with, the petition has to be submitted 30 days before the election. So
But
the
in
dates of
theory-
it doesn't matter, the dates, the signatures won't occur after it's submitted.
But no, I think he's saying, if you look at the petition, I know what you're saying, if you listen better to me. So, on the petition, it says, or the letter, it says the signatures have to be collected within the 30 days prior to the petition submission. Well, obviously, it has to get
Oh, you mean
submitted
if
30
it
days
was
before. You
collected
can't-
today,
Yes.
it wouldn't count because we're not within 30 days.
I believe that's what
If
it
I
says
get
in the
200
packet.
signatures today, then wait the day before the petition's due and turn them in, you don't know when I got those signatures. According to New York state law, I believe they have to be dated, but you're the
The
lawyer.
election law doesn't govern the school board elections, the education law does.
Okay.
So there's different provisions for the education law by comparison to the election law, so there's differences
I have one
between the
more.
two.
One more for Mrs. Varnoff, and then we go to Mrs. Citro.
Yeah, my question was, and maybe I didn't see it, correct me if I'm wrong, who handles, the poll workers' compliance during the election day? Is it the district clerk? Is it the superintendent? Who makes that call about poll workers and what they're allowed to do or not allowed to do, where they're allowed to stand, not allowed to stand, what they're allowed to see, what they're not allowed to see? Is it the district clerk or is it the superintendent?
So, first of all, a poll worker, correct me if I'm wrong, Steve, a poll worker has to be identified prior to
Correct.
the election.
Yes,
There is only allowed one poll worker per candidate at any
Correct.
given time.
Wait, you're talking about poll watcher.
Thank you, Sam.
Oh, I'm sorry.
yeah,
Poll
yes,
worker.
That's me
because,
too.
yes. So poll watcher,
Poll watcher,
per
one per
candidate,
candidate at any
yes.
given time. So you have-
registered before in advance.
Correct, registered before in advance.
Yes,
They have to sign in with the district clerk.
okay,
We would give them an area to sit.
Correct.
That is here.
yes,
Usually I put them right next to me in the new registration area. But if there's that many people, obviously we have to spread it out a little bit. They are not allowed behind the machines.
mhm,
They are not allowed behind an individual who's in the privacy booth voting.
okay,
They are able to point something out to the district clerk, or the deputy district clerk.
mhm,
And if there is any issue, we will resolve it with the poll worker. But we will
poll
not,
watcher,
poll watcher, but we will not,
sorry.
we will not allow them behind the machines or the
I-
privacy booth.
I understand that they have to follow certain rules. My question is simply, who is in charge of the poll watchers on the day of the election? Is it, who has the authority over
District clerk,
them?
district clerk, and obviously if there,
The legal counsel on the day of?
if there
Okay.
is a question that obviously I would
I
have an
understand.
issue with, I can't answer, I would bring in.
So
legal
district
counsel.
clerk, so it goes to district
Correct.
clerk first and then to council. Thank you. Is that written in, I'm clarifying this, because I'm
Mrs.
not
Severino,
sure.
I didn't know, wait, no, I'm just.
Maybe I missed it, it's like a million pages on my laptop right now, I don't think it says that, so I think
There's nothing about poll watchers.
Yeah, so I think-
This policy right here, 1210, is regarding board members, nomination and election, not the election process. Poll watchers is a byproduct of law. So we can add a paragraph in there that's not a problem. If you prefer to, with regards to who runs the election, it's the district clerk, it's letter G.
Correct.
But if you want to add something regarding them overseeing the poll watchers.
Yeah, can we write a
that's
district
fine.
clerk oversees poll watchers?
That's fine.
Perfect, thank you.
He oversees everything. Go ahead, Mrs. Citron. On G. Board member, yes, that's part of the law. Yes, Mr. Goodstaff, can we add something that if the board member is serving as district clerk, then that person will not be responsible for elections?
The board members do not serve as district clerk, they can. Pick
Oh.
the district clerk.
He,
Because she's talking about a
she
board.
said she saw that somewhere. Are you sure it didn't serve as, I think she's right about that. That
Yeah,
somebody-
I saw somewhere that a board can appoint a district clerk and a board
A
member
board
can
member can
act.
be declared district clerk.
Correct.
Wherever, if you find it, let me know, I don't see it.
Let me see if I can-
We will find, Mrs. Vartan. Okay, what else you have, Mrs. Citron? Mrs. Vartan, I'm just gonna look where that is. Okay. Excellent.
Oh, it's 11.
Wait a sec. Yes, under ex officio, there's A through F about who gets to do it. And how do we decide which one we go with? I had that, and I would say we should just go with letter C, a student selected by the high school student government. And just put everything else out. Would that solve your problem?
Let's see.
I don't think yeah, but what are you gonna run, a special election? Oh, so you're saying you just wanna leave B in there, student, so why don't we just leave B in there? Okay, so someone has to make a decision. So, under selecting an ex officio student board member, Mrs. Citron saying we have, how do we decide, or who decides which one of those six methods is used to select the board member, the ex officio student board member?
We're losing people in the audience.
Your suggestion is what, Mrs. Citron? Let high school administration decide. We not have the students elected? Okay. But don't we have a system right now that works where it's just the students elected and we move on? B.
I can hear what she's saying.
Yeah, so you like B, that's what we're saying, okay.
It's hard for me to concentrate. Thank you, no, it's fine. I don't wanna interfere with the sound.
That's better.
Jill, speak. I mean, it's better, yeah, it's better.
But I don't know that we need to be the ones to decide whether to say the high school administration probably should request, I mean, part of the things that the board should have some input.
We're choosing an ex officio member of the board, and quite frankly, the most impartial way is to have the student government, the students elected, the way they've been doing it for the last 10 years. I'm not sure why we'd want to change it, but I understand if other people want to change it, we can speak up. Anyone have any thoughts on this?
I'm sorry, I'm lost, what's the recommendation?
She's not saying,
If the high school administrators have.
high school administration is done.
They walked out.
They didn't care.
Okay, so let's leave it at, why don't we say it me and maybe Robert can check with them.
Okay,
And
so
B is, just so I don't have to
a
keep scrolling
student,
down.
a student duly elected by the student body. So if for this policy, if we could take out A, C, D, E, and F, absent them coming back to the superintendent saying that they want to decide it, though I have absolutely no idea why we would want high school administration to decide who should be the student rep.
No, yeah.
Oh, I found,
Yeah, but they found it in 1210, what it says is though, 1120, sorry.
G1.
It's
it's an added sentence.
Yes, in union-free school districts, however, a board member may be appointed clerk of the board and of the district.
So
We're gonna scrap that.
we're gonna scrap that,
Scrap
good.
it.
Thank you for the suggestion.
Because it's not legal, or because
Yeah,
what?
there's actually a comptroller position, a comptroller opinion 89-24, which talks about that issue.
Well, we're gonna get a refund from Erie Bose's. Go ahead, Mr. Chisholm.
Are we allowed to add a policy for translator during the election?
A sentence for translator?
Like, yeah, like providing a translator
The district will provide a translator upon request, or always?
always. We're gonna need it
For what language?
Okay.
How do we choose
for
language?
Chinese. Well, I mean, I'm
Mandarin.
asking for Chinese, but you can,
Yeah, I think that's.
I'm gonna,
What's the law?
that's a Mr. Block question.
The law currently states that you're required to have a Spanish translator.
Right.
That's it.
Okay, so the law says,
Yeah, there's a.
I know in New York City, they
Did
have
we have
Chinese.
one
okay,
last
so,
year?
you know what, I think is perfectly legitimate. For now, let's add a sentence, and we'll confirm it with Mr. Block, saying
Yeah.
that the district will have available during election day a Chinese, Mandarin, Cantonese, or a Mandarin translator.
Yeah.
Go ahead,
Why
Mr.
can't you just keep it translated, like, I think,
Oh,
again,
like,
lawyer,
meaning one day
there's
if
federal
we
law that
need,
you're allowed to have a translator translate any ballot or whatever.
yeah, just leave it big, so
So why
that,
not just be a translator? Cause this issue just happened last.
No, but I think Mr. Jim is saying that the district is required to provide a translator, not that someone's gonna bring their translator with them. I think he's saying that we're gonna provide a translator.
That's
maybe,
Mr. Jim's question.
or maybe have the ballot to have a Chinese language on it.
No, that we cannot do.
Oh, that cannot be.
Legally, we have to do it in English and Spanish.
Okay,
That's what I wanted to point out.
okay.
Translator, we can have a Mandarin Chinese translator to help assist us while we're speaking to residents. But on the ballot, we cannot have it in a language other than English and Spanish.
I thought I
currently.
seen the ballot with Chinese in the city.
Maybe this, not here.
Not
Not
here.
here, okay.
And it's not here, we don't create, the Nassau County creates ballots.
How do you determine what translation you're gonna need, right?
That's the problem with Mr. Jen's suggestion regarding having a Mandarin Chinese.
They have like a 5-language from there.
No, but if you need a translator, so if there's an Arabic parent,
Right.
we won't know. We have to, how will we get someone right away?
So the issue is, and I
But that's
think,
why we're not having the general
I
one.
think Mr. Barini brings the point about allowing the translators. I knew there was a law change. Again, Mr. Block, my partner, is more well versed in election law than I am. I know he speaks a lot. But this is on video, right? So, but with regards to that, if we pick one and not the other, then that's a lot of problems. But I know the law has changed to potentially allow for someone to translate the ballot.
so they would have to
I'm
stand next
sorry.
to the person
There's a
with
difference.
the
You're
ballot.
saying if we bring one translator, we have to bring every translator?
To be fair, well,
Yes.
that's equity.
That's potentially discriminatory. Yeah.
It makes-
Civil rights violation.
But you're allowed to, as a person,
That's a-
have.
That's a different, that's a
But
different,
hold on,
that's, yes.
why can't we have both? Why can't, because this district is so dominant in the Asian community, why can't we provide for that? And then if somebody else needs a translator, they're allowed to bring their own
It's a
translator.
population threshold, you're just making the district, but it's the area has to be at a certain threshold for it to require, for it to require a native speaking ballot for that population.
No, not a ballot.
For the translator requirements, you're not at that threshold, where he's talking about in the city,
probably has to do with population or some other rule.
No, but he was saying that the ballot was in Mandarin. I'm not suggesting that. I'm saying provide a translator that speaks Mandarin so that on the day of the
Yeah, but then
election.
how do you accommodate other
And
people
those other people, if you have to have one or two or three families, 10 families, they're allowed to bring their own translator? It sounds like that the law has changed. But
The law
it's
changed
still
to
un-
allow for, but for the district to provide is it's a different issue.
Okay,
In that case, we should make the policy allow people to bring their translator if they need it. Because I think from my experience last year,
yeah,
they weren't allowed people to translate.
there was a problem.
They were making people like, oh, you cannot translate for them. They were making hassle for them.
Because nobody know, I sent an email about this. It was, I don't think a lot of people know this, but you can literally ask someone to translate for you in the booth.
Right, but they weren't allowed.
Sure, but they didn't know.
Right, it was
I'll consult with Mr. Block and
And then we'll-
we'll provide suggestions before second.
for
Perfect.
translators, okay.
And another point is, are we allowed to campaign in school during the non-election day?
In school or on school
Like,
property?
on school property, like parking lots, outside of school.
What policy is electioneering?
It's right there.
Oh, it's in the same
It's
one?
1210, this covers everything in
it's in the
election.
I'm talking about, like, outside of election day, like, not on the election day,
Yeah.
but like,
Okay.
So that's a board decision and a policy decision regarding whether you want political speech at all on any day.
okay.
Obviously, during the school, to the extent that it disrupts the process, that's a different story. You can't disrupt the process. You can't block entryways, you can't force yourself on people. When I say you, I don't mean you, I'm just using the general.
Right.
You can't force yourself on people. You would have to, again, that's a decision that is discussed. It's not a legal
You're saying that
discussion per se.
we allow,
But again, this is not, he's asking about
Campaigning.
non-election.
no, he said,
day.
Non-election day, he's asking about
yeah,
non-election
so
day.
let's just say for within the 7 days of leading up to election, 14 days, whatever it may be, is that allowed? Or are we now opening ourselves up to now anyone can campaign for anything?
Correct, again, viewpoint neutral. So by
Okay.
doing that, you're allowing yourself for local senators, local assemblymen,
Mhm.
local everyone to set up shop outside the school building before concert, before the November election. So that's a conversation, that's
Okay,
not a,
But there is a difference between a community member,
when you open up the school building to a public event, when you invite people, it is no longer a private property, it is school, when you have a board meeting.
No, I'm not talking about inside.
I understand that, but when I say open up, but you're opening up the property. So a board meeting is a public meeting, it's not a school meeting. So there's different rules for during the school day compared to at night. So when you make it public, you allow anybody in the public to do whatever, you basically viewpoint neutral. So you can't, you can't just say, well, we're just gonna carve out this election, but not that election, or this and that, not that.
Okay,
It's all or nothing.
in the interest of, I understand this, we're not adopting this till July 1st. It's not going to affect our May election.
Correct.
If you could please prepare some material for us to consider.
That's really at the deference of the board before putting together, especially on that type of issue.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm talking about some research as to,
Okay,
I'm not talking about to write a policy. I'm just so that Mr. Block can say, this is what these are your choices. You can have it totally shut down, this, or this. That's it, just so we have sort of a, no offense, Chinese menu as to what we can choose. Right, it's under same policy, section B, it says it must be filed with the clerk of the district. That means it has to be in person, or they can email it in?
the petition, does it have
Letter
to be
B.
filed in person?
Second, letter B, the notice of the annual district meeting must
Can they
state
email
petitions
it
timely
over?
and candidate to the board must be filed with the clerk.
You're talking about,
Needs petitions.
The petition.
Yeah.
Do we have to physically hand the petition in person, or can I email the
In
petition
person.
over?
in person,
Okay.
we need to wait.
The wet signatures.
G
But
is
what if
clerk.
I mailed it and it's on the way, but here I'm emailing it, I'm sick, I don't feel well.
We would need it by then.
You just put filed in person in there. And
Got it.
are we leaving C in here about write-in candidates? That's like crazy. No, that never happens, right? And then down to I, no electioneering will be allowed within 100 feet of the polling place. That is 100 feet of the entrance to the polling place, is that correct? That's my understanding
Entrance
of,
of the polling place where you enter to go
according to Title II, Article 41, Part 1, 2031-A, it is 100 feet radial from the entrance to the building. Well, this is the constant discussion
Which
that we
building?
have.
Which building? Also, there-
Well, it's all one building.
could you go stand at an elementary school?
My thought is, this is one building.
Okay, so this is one, so we're talking about this building.
So the advertisement of this building is 99 Cedar Swamp Road. That is the advertisement for the elections. So it would be 100 feet from 99 Cedar Swamp Road, which means,
No,
I-
9
I
feet
don't
from
think
the entrance today.
Yeah, it has to be the entrance. You
Right.
can't-
so, no.
The entrance. Not where the school is, because their school has different entrances. You're only going into one door when you're gonna vote.
I don't know, well,
No electioneering within polling place.
100 feet from the entrances to a building where the election is being held. That's the way I read the law. But that's, I left that with Mr. Goodstead, and
I believe we had this conversation with Mr. Block a couple
And
years ago.
It is the position of Mr. Block that it is the 100 feet from the entrance of the vote.
Any entrance.
Of the vote, of the polling vote where you vote.
Oh, the room where you're voting.
Yeah, like the gym, for example. 100 feet,
Oh, that's Mr. Block's opinion. So then what we've been doing for the last 50 years is
fine.
kosher. I'm just gonna use all kinds of,
Now, that's not to say about what goes on during the school building during the school day. Again, there's still a disruption of the election process. There's still a disruption of the educational process.
During the
well,
day.
no offense,
During
it's
school
only Dr. Hart and his JTA t-shirts that are, that do it on election day.
We wear them every day, Mr. Crowe.
You're the loud Hawaiian shirt guy. You never wear it except election.
Only on Wednesdays, I wear it on Wednesdays.
Okay, so it sounds like we've solved all of our problems here, except for the issue with something.
I'm sorry, where,
Well, the issue of what you're gonna do on every other day of the year.
Yes.
Right,
Well,
what
no,
is-
for the electioneering.
Yeah,
But around 100 feet seems like we're good with it.
Yeah.
So, moving on.
If we learn anything new, we will.
Of course.
Yeah.
Let you know.
of course.
No, he can check it, but he's gonna check with Mr. Block. And Mr. Block, in 2,000 words or more, will answer. 1220.
Oh.
The only thing I have in here is, because we do it already, the district clerk provides these forms
Yeah.
to candidates. We're gonna keep doing that. Do we need to add that to the policy, Mr. Goodstead? Because without that, candidates, some of them will not even know to submit it. So can we just put in there that the forms that they're talking about outlining the contributions will be provided by the district clerk upon either submission of a valid petition
That's when
or,
normally,
no, you usually give it all as a package.
Right, like a
yeah, when they
package.
submit the petition.
No,
Yes.
when you get a petition, it comes in an envelope, it has your petition and it has all your
Oh, yeah.
finance
Yeah,
support.
When
yeah,
you request a petition.
When you
Yes.
request the petition, so we just put in there that the district clerk will give it when we request the petition. We are flying.
But for those who don't request the petition, as we discussed earlier, that
Right.
they paid it on their own.
Right, they vote
When
on
they submit their
paper.
petition is when they would be provided the packet.
Okay,
So
so
I just want to make that clear.
bottom line is getting provided one way or another.
Yes.
Why can't the petition and everything be online? Like, I've never understood that.
I believe it is or was. I don't remember.
Well,
You
maybe because-
technically don't need.
You don't need the petition.
You don't need the petition, you can do it on your own.
Right, but,
I get it, but most people don't know they could do it on their own.
right,
And most people don't know to go ask, like, it's not advertised.
but also, to your point, if I'm a person who, like, I really haven't been paying attention too much, I don't know how many voted last year, and I think that there's a formula, how many signatures I have to get based upon X amount of percentage who voted. If I don't have that info,
Generally speaking, it's always gonna be the 2%, but you're right, you don't know how many people have.
You
That's
don't-
why you go to the district clerk. because
right,
the
but let's just
district
say on a
clerk has the information.
Saturday, before I have to hand in the petition, I decide I'm gonna run, and I'm like really eager.
I just don't understand what the barrier is. Is it a legal issue, or we just can't put it online and say, here, for this election, here's everything you need, and here's how many
I think the
signatures?"
reason they don't do it is because they wanna know who's picking it up.
I think that's probably the, I don't know, I'm not sure if the legal
But-
reason, but.
We're happy to democratize it.
But I agree, really doesn't matter who's picking it up, 100 people can pick it up and only one person might hand it in, it doesn't matter.
I mean, unless Mr. Mayo's just bored, that has nothing else going on. I don't know why he wants to be bothered by it.
Bothered by what?
People
Like,
picking up
every
Requesting a
single person
petition
unless
and
one has
coming
to
to
come
pick
to
it
you.
up and blah, blah, blah.
Because that's when we typically provide them the campaign forms, we,
Yeah, but he's saying you can do all, you could just have a packet, here, hit this button, and you can print up
Right.
a package.
If I'm gonna run, I can just get it online and
you
then,
guys wanna do that, you're more than welcome to do that.
We will do that as part of the new website. Ms. Valito, new website, there's a button on there for doing that, and we will provide the number.
I think if we could, the more we can digitize in general, it's better.
Yeah.
Or you could do a write-in.
Or you can do it right now.
Nobody wins a write-in, everybody knows that.
But you don't
Okay,
get the campaign form.
yeah. We are up to 12:30, my favorite, resignations and vacancies.
So 12:20, don't know what we're doing.
This might have changed, but I would just add that as provided by district clerk. And just, somebody's going to reformat this to make it look nicer before it goes up, it reads.
Okay.
Just making sure.
What did I say? Send me an email.
I'm not talking about specific, I'm just asking a general question for the general public.
Got it.
Was there are you asking a question about this, or?
No, I want 12:30, so if you have a question on 12:30, absolutely.
So, if I understand it correctly, the entire detailed enforcement framework was removed from this policy. I think the one that was adopted in March of 2024.
Yes, because it was thoroughly, I don't want to say illegal, but sort of not legal.
Okay.
He's talking about how the board can just throw someone off the board for,
Yeah, I have a question.
Go
I have a
ahead.
question on the board, so I'd like to ask a question. We spent months and months adopting this policy as well as this, board ethics and civility board, and was that purposefully removed, or was that because of the Erie BOCES? And if that's the case, then, they need to keep the policies that we, specifically added that address our specific school systems, not, obviously, I see, they're updating the generic ones, but this is clearly not a generic one. This is one that we spent months, board members, administration time, adopting.
Yeah, I have one already.
Oh, for me, I'm sorry.
Thank you.
We understand, and we're looking at that. Like I said, the part about the board being able to remove a board member under New York state law, and I can let Mr. Goodstadt, talk to this, it's for the behavior that's outlined in here as to why a board can remove a board member. Like the stuff we had in there about, was just not legal. We explained that at the time, but if Mr. Goodstadt wants to say that you can remove a board member for gesticulating, please, we'll put it in there.
Not that it's illegal, I think that's probably not the proper use of words, however, any type of violation would probably fall under the misconduct, which is specifically listed throughout here. So it could be termed by the members of the Board of Education that something in particular would be considered misconduct, which would be a reason for. But you don't actually have to set forth what the different reasons are, that would be for the board to make a decision and vote on. So I wouldn't call it quite illegal per se, I would just say it's probably.
Unenforceable?
So,
Aspirational.
so Sam, you chose, you had input in the policies that we got, they weren't just given to us by Erie BOCES with administration making changes. You specifically chose to take this and the other ones out?
Not at all, not at all, not at all. I had absolutely nothing to do with this. You got the same book that I got at the same exact time. Those policies were taken out by Erie BOCES.
Okay, so I guess if we could tell Erie BOCES that they shouldn't be taking out, the ones that are generic, that every school district has, or, those obviously make sense to update, but this was something that we spent months.
I don't think Erie BOCES, no?
Erie BOCES, okay, let's just go back over the process. We hired Erie BOCES, and we were going through the process. We said, send us what the latest and best of the document looks like. That's what they sent us. Our administration then went through, Ms. Correa went through, redlined the whole thing against Erie BOCES standard. Since those policies did not exist in Erie BOCES standard, they were redlined. And if you're looking at the clean draft, they're removed, but if you're looking at the red line draft, they're there to be redlined. The part in this policy about removing the board, again, it wasn't in Erie BOCES, and as Mr. Goodstadt just explained, we could put whatever we want in there, but it's sort of not consistent with anything. It's still gonna be consistent with misconduct, but again, misconduct is not gonna be seen as gesticulating in 99.9% of the cases, I guess.
But you guys remove, but the only avenue for anything is to go through the, commissioner removal process and nothing more.
No,
There's two different ways to remove someone from the board. There's the commissioner process, or the board can vote to remove. And they would have to go through a hearing, a just cause hearing, and then that could be appealed to the commissioner. But it's ultimately, the board can make that decision, or the board can serve a commissioner appeal to just remove them without that extra hearing.
So this was more statutory, it's just following the statutory guidelines.
Sixth paragraph, second sentence talks about the board may also remove a board member for misconduct relating to the exercise of authority as a board member. And that's statutory. So what Mrs. Citron's referring to is, we'll refer to them as the SP rules. And yes, Mrs. Citron, I did not have anything to do with them being removed. From this paragraph, the whole idea of removing someone for that was not consistent with statutory law. We knew that at the time, and that was that. In terms of the board code of ethics and the board best practices and civility, the two policies we wrote, in my opinion, were gibberish. I have rewritten the policy, I've combined it with board code of ethics, best practices and civility. Instead of being 4 pages and 2 policies, it's 1 page and 16 little letters. 7 under ethics, 7 under best practices, and 4 under civility. In terms of the 2 policies that we had, we can discuss them now. I think they were garbage, and they should be thrown in the garbage. I think we should rewrite those policies from scratch. They were repetitive, and they were silly. But as I said, I'm one of 5 people.
Does Jill have a copy of this one?
She doesn't.
Oh.
I didn't know if we were
Can
gonna
you
get to this.
Oh, you can't email, you didn't email it to me?
I didn't email it to anybody.
Okay.
No, that's why I brought hard copies.
Do you want, Jill, do we
You
want
send
to
it
do
to her,
this?
sure.
No.
Would it be
Wait,
better to just?
Take a picture. Take a
Yeah,
picture and email it to her.
I could scan it and email it to Divya and Jill right now.
Sammy, why don't you just send it to, we obviously can't, I'm not prepared to discuss this
Right.
tonight, it was not allowed to be in meetings, whatever, so why don't you send it to us and we'll discuss it another time.
That's fine.
Okay,
But thank you, Jeanette.
okay.
There you go, she got it. Great. On this paragraph, on the section 1230, last paragraph on that page, on the first page, if not filled by board appointment or special election, the district superintendent, supervisory district may appoint a competent person. Are we allowed to delete that, or is that statutory?
Statutory, however, I have never seen that. Some districts have had vacancies for 6-7 months, and it does not get filled, but that's statutory.
Great.
It looks like that was in the original, I thought that was new, but it looked like it was in the original policy before that anyway.
It would have been in the original policy because it's,
I don't remember seeing it, but it was there.
I just don't like it because it's there, but.
I understand what.
Oh, but I have a question about that, it says, the policy says, the board, if the board, somewhere it says, so I'm looking at the red line, so it's hard to read, but it looks like it says you have to fill a vacancy.
It does not say.
It says it may call within 90 days, if not filled by board appointment or a special election. It says may, not must. Again, most board, the empty seat will get filled in May during your election, assuming you don't have a special election or fill it first. It really just depends on what the board wants to do, but you're not required to fill it before May.
I know, Because I thought it said, oh, here it says, this is, okay, it says, the events of the blah, blah, blah. The district has the power and the duty to fill such vacancy. I have removed and duty, but it's that,
Where is she reading from?
that says we have to fill the vacancy.
Where is that?
In the event of death, resignation, removal from office, or
Guys,
from the district or
Seven paragraph.
a board member, the district has the power and the duty to fill the vacancy. So I think the word and duty should come out.
No, you do have the duty to fill the vacancy, it's just not an immediate duty. And you will fill it, you'll fill it either you appoint somebody.
Then it says if the board chooses to fill the vacancy, it's inconsistent. We won't fill we aren't gonna fill the vacancy, if we don't choose to fill the vacancy, it gets elected at the next district vote. So the word and duty doesn't fit,
Why doesn't duty fit?
because then that says we are required to fill the vacancy. We have the power to fill the vacancy, but if the board chooses to fill it,
No, it says if the board chooses to fill it by appointment.
right, but I'm just saying the board has, the district has the power, we don't have a duty to fill the vacancy. We have the option to leave it open until the next meeting, until the next election.
It sounds like just like the word duty,
I understand.
that's forcing it to.
Any thought, Mr. Fitzgerald?
Whatever floats the district's boat.
Duty is a
I
final
understand,
obligation to act. Okay, so we're gonna. Let's remove it, unless by statutory we have to move on. Well, unless by statute we have to keep it. Now let's move on, thank you. 1330, anybody before page 3, do we have a school pesticide representative?
That would most likely be Michael Hunt.
Okay, so we do, good.
Is that
skip-
your new office?
I don't know. I don't know,
Stipend for
I
that.
think we can get to that.
because we're on 1330.
1330, appointments and designations by the board.
Sorry, I thought we were still on election.
We have a chemical hygiene officer too, that
Wait,
one.
did you skip 1320?
He did.
Did I? I apologize. I thought we were on
Nomination and
1320.
election of board officers.
Oh, I'm sorry, it was only one page, I thought it was all the same policy. I had nothing on 1320. Anybody on 1320? Going once, twice, gone. 1330.
Nothing.
Oh, no, under authorizations, following authorization was made by the board at the organizational meeting. Approval, attendance, conferences, conventions, workshops, and like. We're never gonna do that at the organizational meeting. We never know what the heck's going on during the year at the organizational meeting. Doesn't matter?
It's just
Good.
a general.
Is there a cost addition to the district on 1330?
For which part?
You're adding all these new appointments?
And I do.
No, those are all there, those are all there, those are all existing.
And most of them are not additional, or many of them are not additional stipends.
Nor are they new.
1331.
You want me to leave this one?
No, the only thing I'll say is you've been shirking your duty under letter K because you always let the superintendent run the org meeting for the first 30 seconds as opposed to doing it as district clerk.
I apologize for that, I will run it in the future.
Although that technically seems a little out of place considering the district clerk is not appointed until after the president and VP come into place, so it's always a fun little conundrum.
I'm more than happy to turn it back to Robert, thank you.
Okay, well, I ever said state ed sucks, but you guys don't listen to me. So I'll say it again, state ed sucks. We deleted all this stuff about record of bond indebtedness, voting machines, poll list, confirming election results. Who does that then?
I'm sorry.
In the old version, we had that the district clerk was also gonna record bond indebtedness, do something like arrange for voting machines, keep the poll lists, and confirm election results.
Well, the confirming of election results is in a different policy. We already talked about that. It was briefly mentioned in the policy when we were talking about when we started going off track regarding
Got
the
it.
district clerk and
So-
something that we remember.
Other than that, then we're good on 1330, we're on 1332, second line, we have a blanket bond on this, Lee?
We have a blanket bond, we have,
It just says the treasurer will be covered by a blanket bond.
we
We
have
it.
crime insurance through Travelers through NYSER that covers financial.
Cool, so unless anyone has any comments, 1332 done, 1333 we're deleting. 1334, while long, I did not see any significant changes in that one, nor 1335 or 1336. So does anyone have any comments on those, 1334, 35, and 36? 1337, duties of the school attorney. I would like to add, the board will appoint a school attorney to provide legal counsel to the district and who will be first accountable to the board.
Which line is that?
First line, the board will appoint a school attorney to provide legal counsel to the district and who will be first answerable, beholden, servile to. Something like that. Does that bother you?
No.
I think there's been confusion in this district in the past, though. That seems to have disappeared in the last 5 to 6 months.
I think accountable is probably the better word.
I think so.
There we go. Who will be first accountable to the board at the end of that first sentence. Anybody have anything else on 1337? 1338. I didn't see any significant changes except H and I. Did we do any of those? Otherwise, we have to pull them out. H, conducting physical exams for all bus drivers and substitutes prior to employees.
Yes.
We do that, and conducting physical exams for all new employees, instructional and non-instructional.
No.
So let's pull out I.
Yes, as customized, some of these essential items.
Where does it say this?
At the bottom of the page, it's highlighted.
Oh, it's, okay.
That's why paper so much better. You see more paper once. Duties of the internal order. This was a new policy that was added. Is this consistent with what you think should be there, Mr. Manuel?
Yes, I did look at this, yes.
Perfect. So we're good with that. 1410. There were no significant deletions. The only question is at the last sentence, last paragraph, second sentence, rules of detailed arrangements will constitute the administrative regulations. Do we have administrative regulations in writing, or is that something that's developed in year 2? That, according to the superintendent, will be developed in year 2. We are currently running with no administrative regulations. Good night, Dr. Hartnett.
Take it slowly.
Oh, we will. 1410 is good. 1510. Go ahead. Oh, sorry, Ms. Citron goes first. Go ahead.
It must be Friday before, I think that's new, and I feel like that should be aspirational. I mean, I don't want someone to get in trouble.
Which one is
1510. That's always been in there, that it was due the Friday before meetings. That's been there forever. And one of the problems with it is when we have a Monday or Tuesday meeting, we don't really get a lot of notice, but we left it in there anyway.
I would add as practicable to allow,
As,
as
yeah.
practicable
That's my suggestion. Yeah.
to allow for the times in which a Thursday meeting needs to come out on a Monday, it's okay. What?
Allow the following meeting because we're closed next week.
Okay, so we are adding as practicable. No problem.
And then, is it news, do we send a notice to news media? Is that new? Is that something we're required to do?
We used to have that, right?
And really,
I don't know, I feel like that's very vague
I
anyway. I don't.
would say really the only time you're supposed to do that is for public hearings.
We're taking it out. It is removed. Just a couple of questions I was unclear on. First paragraph, fourth sentence. Members of the superintendent's staff may attend board meetings at the superintendent's discretion. Does that mean they can attend unless the superintendent tells them they can attend?
No, public meetings are public.
That's what I thought, so that's why I didn't quite understand.
This
the
is
sentence.
really more along the lines of executive session. in
Okay.
Which executive session by contract, the superintendent is required to go to exec session technically.
No, I know, but that's why I didn't know what this was. Like, he's just sort of saying these people can't come unless he says they can. I didn't think that was very.
No, it's executive session.
the stuff about public comment in there?
In here,
Is that, which one were you on?
1510.
I have notes that there was, maybe I read it wrong, I don't know.
No, it's a long policy, so I'm only on page 1, so. Public comment, yeah, is on page 4 of that, and I have a big no underlined with 3 exclamation points. So as soon as we get to page 4, Mr. Bahraini, we will address it. Give us 2 seconds to get through the first 3 pages.
I didn't write this.
Right?
I didn't write
No,
this.
we understand that. We are in no way, this is a standard form that all the less sophisticated districts across New York State use. Third paragraph.
Yep.
When the board schedules a meeting on at least 1 week's notice, we never give notice. We have the board designee will give notice. And then that same thing is in the third to last line there. Board has the ability to do so, the board designee will conspicuously post.
Yep.
Mrs. Vartnoff is not taping anything.
Oh, no, Jill's part of the quorum, so that's okay.
Yes. Whenever individuals or groups wish to bring them, next paragraph to the initial board, they will submit a written request to the superintendent who will forward to the board president or to the board.
Did we talk about the second?
The fourth paragraph, last sentence. Whenever individuals or groups wish to bring matters to the attention of the board,
No, got it.
they will submit a written request to the superintendent who will forward it to the board. Again, has not been a problem in the last 7 months, but if someone complains about something, I hate when they say, oh, we sent something to the super, I would hate for them to say we sent something to the superintendent, why was it never sent to the board?
Fine, no problem.
Perfect, nothing against you, sir. You're good.
You were.
The last paragraph on this
Extraordinary
page.
circumstances? Or are we on that? No, okay.
No, we're not on, we're still on the bottom of page 1, the last paragraph there, it doesn't make any sense.
Which one about the freedom of information law? I don't.
Yeah, district records available to the public under Freedom of Information Law, as well as any present regulation. Schedule will be discussed at the board meeting, will be made available upon request to the extent practical. We make all these available for anything we're discussing, so.
To the extent practical, it's not actually, sometimes you have to do a walk-on for various reasons, depending on what the contract.
No, it's not the extent, I have no problem, it's the upon request. We make this
Yeah, that's
stuff,
fine, you can get rid of the
we
upon.
get rid of upon request.
That's antiquated language before the internet, even though it's a new policy, that's still just the easier way to put it, because not everyone technically has computers.
Got it.
So if somebody who doesn't have a computer wants it, they can call Victor and say, hey, I want this, and it's made available.
They have a phone but no computer. Okay, that's fine.
But we can get it.
I'd rather take it out because we give it to them already. It's like, we're testing out that next part tonight.
Well, the first part is byproduct of law.
Yeah.
The second part, the extraordinary circumstances, is something that if you wish to adopt, you would have to do a public hearing before adopting.
Extraordinary circumstances, you're with us, Mrs. Citron, because we need you for our quorum right now while Mrs. Bartnoff is out. Extraordinary circumstances makes it basically available if we want to just declare extraordinary circumstances that anyone can call into any meeting and vote. I personally, when Mr. Goodstack raised it, it was, why do we want that? It just makes people less committed to this process.
So generally speaking, extraordinary circumstances is not just because they feel like it. Extraordinary circumstances would be sickness, caring for a relative, and not just I'm going to Lake Tahoe for the weekend and I still want to attend the board meeting. So generally, there already is a byproduct, and we're seeing it right now that Ms. Citron is on at this meeting. In order for somebody to attend and vote at the meeting without this provision, they would just have to, in the public notice, write the address of where Ms. Citron is and saying that people could attend at both locations. So people can attend the board meeting at 99 Cedar Swamp Road and 123 Main Streets. So you technically don't need the extraordinary circumstances if people are willing to just put the address as to where they are, and for any reason, they can continue the meeting without having to do this extraordinary circumstances, so.
Right, if we change our mind and think there's a reason why we need to have it, but it doesn't sound like it's ever been an issue and hopefully won't be an issue. So,
Well, when you say, like, let's say, even tonight, someone got sick and was able to, or like, someone is
fine, the only and just as a point of information, in the event that the board wishes to continue with that language, we would have to do a separate board resolution followed by a public hearing in order for that portion to go through.
Once or every time?
Once.
So that's not a big deal.
But again, if that's the case, they can just provide their address and it solves the problem.
But I think what Ms. Citron is saying, that tonight, Dr. Balachandra was unable to come at the last second, and if it was an extraordinary circumstance, she would be permitted, if that was adopted, she would have been permitted to vote and participate in tonight's meeting.
And I know that last year or the year before, Jen was away and wanted to participate, but didn't, because she could give that.
Under the extraordinary circumstances, Ms. Votner being away and on vacation would not allow her to participate under the extraordinary circumstances provision of the law.
Extraordinary circumstances, if you suddenly get sick and if you're sick and if you suddenly get sick and are at home, like Dr. Balachandra tonight, do we want to create an extraordinary circumstances exception where you can then participate and vote in a board meeting without providing your address? Wait, so Dr. Balachandra provided her address at the beginning of the meeting last year. She couldn't participate?
Public notice already.
Right.
Public, it was too late.
That's what I'm saying, it was too late, so it doesn't work in that case, so it's.
Well, no, in her case, well, Dr. Balachandra would not have been able to, but however, had you adopted extraordinary circumstances,
She could have.
she could have. That's all.
Without providing that.
Without providing the address.
It would have been too late for this.
Yeah.
I mean, I would like to put it in, but that's just like most.
Any thoughts, Mr. Jen?
Either way, I'm okay. I'm okay with either way this morning.
So-
Because I think I had one experience, I was away and I couldn't attend the meeting that day because of work. But I would like to attend over Zoom, I couldn't because I don't want to disclose my home address. I think that was me during the summer. So I couldn't
Right,
attend
so-
that meeting.
That wouldn't fall.
That would have
That
fallen under
wouldn't
extraordinary
fall.
circumstances.
You wouldn't have been
I
able to
think-
participate no matter what.
Okay.
Illness, caring for someone who has an illness,
Oh, just only illness.
really it's illness.
$1 billion deal blowing up on Kenny Gym is not extraordinary circumstance?
Technically, people, you know, if someone were to challenge, if Kenny Jim was the reason that you had quorum, and someone challenged that vote, it can invalidate the entirety of every vote that day.
Okay.
But no, I don't want to
Well,
disturb
so
the-
basically, we wouldn't have to change this policy, we just have to adopt something, or we have to have a hearing to then change this.
Correct, but I mean, this is first read, so you
So
can.
this is first read, let's leave it like this, and we'll discuss this some more when we have Dr. Balachandra back, and we'll be able to have a public hearing on it before then, before we have the second read and know whether or not we have to update it.
Correct.
Perfect. Participation, skip public comment for tech reasons. So we are up to, as Mr. Moretti said, go ahead.
Are you leaving 1510?
No, we're about to get to public comment right now. We're on the fourth page of 1510, public comment. I think there's a lot of restrictions here which we haven't had in the past, and absent them being abused by anyone in this community on more than one occasion every couple of years, I think we should take this out. And board will designate a specific portion of its meeting agenda for public comment on any item, not just agenda items, not 30 minutes. Public is not permitted to discuss topics unrelated to the district, no, that just goes out. I think there should be, board will designate a specific portion of its meeting for agenda for public comment.
I'm sorry.
You want to remove the first paragraph? I mean, that's pretty much your statement.
No, I'm talking about the second paragraph.
Just, you said the whole section.
Oh, I'm sorry, I meant the whole paragraph, I apologize. No, I want public comment, I want people to say whatever they want to say, absent insulting people.
So just the second paragraph you're referring to?
Yeah, but it starts with, board will designate a specific portion of its meeting agenda for public comment, period. The board, go ahead.
You're just telling them which paragraph that you think should be deleted, right?
Just which two sentences?
Okay, I agree that we always want people to speak and give appreciate that we, probably more than any other district, allow and welcome public comment as freely as possible. There have been times where it's gotten out of hand and people from outside the district and people came to, you know, incite, and there are times in, not necessarily in Jericho, but things are going on around the country politically that could be very disruptive, and I would like to give us some sort of mechanism that maybe we have a switch or, you know, take a vote at the beginning of the meeting and have a policy or a procedure in place that we could flip on when it's potentially going to get out of hand.
Well,
So
again,
this paragraph would say, if the, you know, if the board so determines, these procedures will go into effect.
Isn't that against open meeting law?
Obviously not if it's in this policy.
no, there's certain parts, all right, we don't have to allow any public comment. So we just have to conduct our business in front of the public, so we don't have to allow comment. So that's not that. I think that the issue with it is, and this is the part that I've been fighting with, arguing with Ingham and Smith about for several years now, is whether or not you need to identify who you are. And so the whole idea of, are they community members or not community members? There was a meeting where we said, only if you live in Jericho can you speak here. Depending on who you talk to, that's consistent with open meeting law, or I'm sorry, that's consistent with whatever it is, and it's inconsistent with other
So
bodies.
the Committee on Open Government has opined that you cannot differentiate between members of the public and members of the district. The Commissioner of Education has stated the opposite. The Committee of Open Government issues opinion letters. The Committee of Open Government, or the Commissioner of Education issues administrative decisions. So there hasn't.
Neither are law.
With regards to school district administration, the Commissioner of Education is technically considered law. However, it has not actually been challenged in court. I would not really want to be the test case on that one. So,
We drive our legal fees up.
no thanks. But generally speaking, you know, there is a good faith argument for either position.
And again, I really have no interest in limiting people's
Yeah, I mean,
ability to speak.
And I think to the point about what happens if things get out of hand, I think the last paragraph of this section talks about it with regards to the board president, you know, asking the person to leave or stop, or, I don't think that there should be, I mean, and always the board can suspend its policy at any point,
You
and
can go recess the meeting and just go wait them out.
yeah.
And like I said, it's been, I think, in 10 years or 12 years of attending meetings, there's only been
Yeah.
2 meetings, maybe 3, where it's ever been even close to where they've had to stop discussion. And that one of those was the robot competition, and one of them may have been regionalization. I don't know the other one. I can't think of it.
yeah, so I mean, so I just.
I fully appreciate what you're saying, Mrs. Citron, but I'm not in favor of solving a problem that
I
hasn't
think
presented itself.
Jill wants a mechanism, which I understand, but we already have that mechanism. We could just shut it off if something was to ever, I mean, if the board president at that moment said, you know, we adjourn, we just get up and adjourn. I mean, that's the mechanism.
Correct.
Absolutely.
That's it.
There would have to be a vote, and you can vote to adjourn. I've been, during COVID, I had meetings in which the board
Yeah.
had to adjourn and
Yeah.
walk out because it was actually dangerous.
Right, exactly. You just, that's your mechanism. That's all.
And also,
Right,
just,
but I mean, but if we might not want to adjourn, because we might want to finish the business.
the board can make a motion at any point if it becomes disruptive, that they can, depending on what the mechanism is. Yeah,
If
or if it becomes an issue, you can make
If
a
it's-
motion to recess, and you can step out for a few minutes.
If it-
The board can take a motion to finish all its business and then adjourn the meeting.
Right.
They can,
Mrs. Citron saying if you want to keep the meeting going, but can't we at any time just
but-
take a vote to end public comment?
So,
yes,
if it's already, if it's
So that's so we can end
dangerous
it.
or so disruptive, then we can't
you don't
finish the
need
meeting.
timeframes.
Yeah.
Timeframes can always be extended, and you can always shut it if you need to, depending on the circumstance. Obviously, it cannot be, it has to be a legitimate
biased,
reason.
yeah.
Yes. Also, just for my own edification, what are you proposing to remove in the second paragraph, just so?
After the word public comment, we put a period,
Okay.
and we get rid of for a period of up to 30 minutes, for public comment, dot.
Yep, got it.
Eliminate for a period of up to 30 minutes on agenda item only. Eliminate the public is not permitted to discuss topics unrelated to the district, matters unrelated to the agenda, or matters involving specific individuals. Take that out too. We already talked about specific individuals. Each speaker will be allowed up to 3 minutes. Scratch that also.
Leave the rest?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you wanna add in there that, I know the board had discussed at some point regarding anonymous comments being read. Anonymous statements or anonymous emails being read out loud.
But we don't read emails anymore.
I know you don't, do you wanna put that?
No, because we don't read emails.
Okay.
We don't read emails anymore.
Perfect.
But you have to take out the second to last sentence, it talks about exceeding time.
Oh, yeah.
Wait, I thought we don't read emails that
No, no,
are
it's-
on the same day.
No, we don't read
Stop
emails
reading
at all, we
emails.
stop.
Completely stop.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Out loud, we don't read emails.
Okay.
Which sentence you want to take out, Mrs. Citro?
The board is not required to allow speakers.
Or it's the second to last one.
Oh, okay.
Do we have it, like, come in, like, before you tell us anything? Yeah.
We get them also, don't they come to
Do
the
they,
meeting?
do they?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, Mr. Bahrain, do you have anything else on 1510 or is just public comment? Perfect. 1520, no significant changes. Does anybody have anything about special meetings of the board? 1530, the only question I had was the second paragraph, minutes of executive session need not include any matter which is not required to be made public by the Freedom of Information Law. Isn't that repeated just under minutes of executive session lower on the page? The last sentence of it.
Yes, it's the same,
It's
it's
the
just.
same thing, so just pull one out. Anybody else on 1530? 1540, executive sessions, there was no significant change and nothing that seemed offensive.
It's actually right out of the law.
Um, 1610, fourth paragraph where it talks about copies of the proposed annual operating budget. Can we just say we're also gonna put that on the website? We commit to putting it on the
That's
website?
fine.
We're on 1610, right?
Yes, ma'am.
For, it's like the third line, it says, however, in the event that the third Tuesday in May conflicts with a religious holiday, will it ever happen? There's no federal holidays there.
It's
will
not
there?
a federal
No,
holiday,
religious.
it's Eid.
Okay,
The way we're growing, by 10 years, we'll have every day as a holiday, so. Let's keep going. 1611, this is the annual business election. This is a new procedure, which we never did before.
I think this is what you do, and I think we talked earlier about poll watchers,
Yeah.
it belongs here.
Yeah, but it says the board will appoint a qualified voter as chairperson of the annual district meeting. Wouldn't it just be the board, would be the board president, the chairperson of the annual district meeting?
No, you technically are a candidate, or you could be a candidate.
So what
It's
if
a
we,
it's a person, it's normally your,
so we usually nominate someone?
it's your lead, you know, election inspector,
Which is who?
it's probably you.
Correct.
But he's not a qualified voter.
All right, it's not,
There
it's,
are poll workers that
wait,
are.
what, the chairperson was called, they were talking about the chairperson?
1611, the
The
board
chair-
will appoint a qualified voter as a chairperson.
Oh, chairperson.
I don't I don't ever remember us doing this.
yeah,
It's a new procedure, I don't know if it's a new requirement, it wasn't in our last manual.
Chairperson.
That's what Mr. Goodstat's figuring it out for us.
Alright, this sounds similar to what the
So,
district clerk.
so like a
It's not the
community
district
member, a non-board member
you cannot be a board member.
cannot be a board member, so a community
You cannot
member
be a victor.
gets appointed and then they have those responsibilities.
Call it self-serving, I think the board will appoint Ira Chukla as chairperson of the annual district meeting and election budget vote.
Typically, in other districts that we dealt with, it's one of your election workers.
Okay, he can't be Victor, he's not a qualified
I'm sorry, say it
voter.
again?
It's an election worker, it's someone.
No,
who
no,
gets
she
appointed
said it
by-
was, she said it
No, I'm
was
just
Victor.
saying, I think Victor already does this.
Yes, but he can.
Yeah, but he can't.
And it's right out of education law
We're all,
2025.
we're all.
So you're supposed to appoint a this is
What
what
is
the
it, what's that
law.
word?
We always have election workers that happen to be residents.
So all those people are,
The
yeah.
board
Not all.
Not all, most. But the law
Not
says,
even most.
the law says in union-free central school districts, the Board of Ed shall appoint a qualified voter of the district as permanent chairman of each meeting or election to call such meeting or election to order. So it is a qualified voter. I mean, so normally, typically what we see in other districts is that it's just one of your elections.
That's fine, let's just make sure we do the process this year,
It's just a
so
board resolution.
it will be
Sorry, what does that person do? I'm just.
They do absolutely nothing except they're just the chairperson of the meeting.
Oh, they,
I mean, normally during those elections, you have someone that's kind of being a leader of all of them, that would be your person.
Yeah, well,
but
it's
it
usually
says
the board
they have to
president.
designate the district clerk, they designate tellers, they have all these responsibilities.
And it seems like it's an all-day thing, when they
This is
start
a-
off in the morning.
These are some serious responsibilities.
Like I said, we normally, we always, I can't even remember a time where we haven't had at least 2 or 3 of the election workers that are residents of the school district.
At what point, I apologize to cut you off, at what point they have to be appointed?
I was gonna say, you
okay.
could just choose one of those.
Do it in
The
April.
morning of, or?
No, you do it the April, you would do it the meeting before.
Yeah.
Oh, the meeting.
We usually have that, we usually do it at the meeting before, or even the meeting before that. We already know who the election workers will be.
The work.
So we will, I'll speak
You
with
would provide
Michelle,
us that, and then we would vote on
and
it?
then I will
It's a
name one of
program,
them.
you just,
Got it, okay.
you're not interviewing to say who can get their qualifications.
Yeah, I got it.
I will likely be one on them.
When is the annual district meeting?
It's election.
The whole day?
Wait,
So we have to be there first thing in the morning. When, it says here, the chairperson will call the annual district meeting to order.
No,
No.
the annual district meeting is after the polls close,
Yes.
and we counted all the votes.
Oh, it's when you go on Zoom?
Correct.
Yeah,
That's the annual
so
district.
the annual district, the election is before the annual
But
district.
see, but the problem is, D is open the voting process.
Mm.
How is he opening the voting process after the voting's closed?
Or she.
How is he or she or they opening the voting process if the voting's already closed?
How about we add this?
No, the opening the voting process is opening the voting machines, not opening, it's, you're reading it a little literally. Opening the voting process, not opening the voting, it's
Okay.
opening the
Dr.
voting.
Kravish just had an aneurysm when he said you're reading the rules too literally. He will say rules are meant to be read
Yeah.
literally.
That's a problem.
Steve, can you just find out from Neil what?
No, this is the requirement, again, opening the voting process is just starting the counting of the votes, opening the voting machines.
Come May, we will focus on
Can I ask a question? Can you find out if you're allowed, because it's a long day for any person?
2 people.
Can we have one that gets the chairperson?
Two shifts.
No, it sounds like it's not the
I'm
whole
there the
day.
whole time.
Two
I
shifts.
can't be the
Yeah.
And as an aside, the clerk of the district shall serve as the clerk of all elections. It only says,
That's your favorite day of the year.
it says one, it says permanent
18
chairman.
hours, baby.
It doesn't
Favorite
say
day.
chair people, it just says chairman.
Again, Ira Sheffield would be happy to do it. 1620, annual organizational meeting. Silliness.
There's a mistake in here.
Yes,
The
sir.
law changed recently, it's actually during the first 20 days of July.
Oh,
Second
right.
paragraph.
Right, it's not a specific Tuesday, any day first 20 days of July.
If
And
we,
technically, it's 20 now.
It's 20.
And technically, you don't have to have it on the first Tuesday, it's any day within the first.
Any day, yeah.
if we don't have it till the 10th day, and there's something that happens on the 2nd, do we only have 3 or 4 board members during that interim period?
So,
Say again?
so when we're talking about taking the oath of office, the oath of office at a board meeting is pomp and circumstance. So in the event that you have a new board member on the 1st of July, they can come to district office, sign the book, and they are a board member. They
Right,
don't have to wait for that first board.
They have to sign the book. That's all they have to do, sign the book,
Sign the
raise
book.
their hand.
Right, raise their
Right.
hand, sign the book, and then
Right.
they are officially a board member, even though the board meeting hasn't happened, that's pomp and circumstance.
And just because it's late and I feel it, the first of the month is a Saturday, and the school blows up on Sunday. Well, the school burns down, not blows up, the office burns down, there's no book to sign.
I think the
Do we
last
only
thing
have
we're
4?
worried about is if someone signed the book.
Yeah, I agree with Mr. Mango right there.
Okay, that's what they said about write-ins.
I don't think
Six,
they need the bonus for the school blow up.
no, burn down, I don't want it, that blow up, burn. Or floods, it floods the office, how about that, flood?
word in school.
No, I did not, you said that, you're not allowed to say that at board meetings. 1630. Anybody?
I'm sorry,
I have something to say, but it's probably, this isn't politically incorrect.
ooh, say it then.
I'm just gonna say it.
Say it, Jill, say it.
Don't forget, our old civility rule is still in effect.
No, are we allowed to require proof of citizenship?
a Republican on their iPad.
Wait.
No one yes.
Wait. Why wouldn't we be required to proof of citizenship?
They're not allowed to, that's right there. The law hasn't changed.
But you have to be a citizen to vote.
You're right, they're certifying, they sign it
So-
up, they sign a sheet when they register, well, when they sign up to vote, that they are certifying that they are a United States citizen.
Okay, so they just have to attest to that?
Yes.
Okay.
You
The
can't.
best part is they
I
can
got
bring
you.
someone else's electricity bill that they don't live at, and you don't know it's really
No,
them.
I-
You just see that they have an electricity bill with an address in Jericho. That's what we're saying.
And I know, I remember that Mr. Block, we spoke to the board last year about switching to actual registration.
Don't even think about going there tonight.
Sam,
No,
I just
that's
want-
not gonna happen.
Yes, sir.
Proof of residency, you have to provide not necessarily just, like, they can provide their license
Right.
with respect to proof of residency. So it's not just an electric bill where it's,
It could be anyone's name. Got it. Okay, I did not know
I
that.
just wanted to clarify.
Perfect, thank you. 1640. Looks like a lot of this is new, but
It's all law.
it's all law, and you think it looks consistent? Because I couldn't, the difference between the second and third paragraph sort of escaped me.
Which, and absentee ballots?
Yeah. Where it's like, why would you ask for an application? Why would you just say, "Give send me the ballot, and I'll send the application in later"?
Because you need the application to get the ballot. That way you don't get people submitting the ballot without completing the reasons as to why. It's the
No, but the
absentee.
second paragraph says you can submit the absentee ballot with the application.
So again, where the application must be received.
Enclosed with the last sentence of the second, the penultimate sentence of the third paragraph, enclosed with the absentee ballot will be an application form for the absentee ballot.
Are you in the second paragraph?
It doesn't make sense.
Third
That
paragraph.
needs to go.
Wait,
That's why I'm raising it.
That needs to go.
I'm not arguing, that's fine, so trash it.
And also, with regards to early mail voting, it's kind of done away with most of the absentee ballot necessity, because you don't.
Because why would you want to do that if you could just do early mail voting?
Correct.
We agree, but are we allowed to get rid of it or
No.
no? No, there we
wait,
go.
so,
I'm sorry, so, is that you?
Yeah, she's just making it.
I
Someone
wanna say
can,
something.
oh,
Sorry, go ahead, Ms. Citron, you've got the mic.
I was just reading, but I didn't know if I was able to talk here. Is there a way to simplify this? Like, cause I know people have to print out something, then mail it in.
Yeah.
Then we have to email stuff. Is there a way to expedite this?
And
It's just, it's such a.
they have to come in person.
Policy.
Yeah, they have to come in, yeah,
What, to get an absentee ballot?
yeah.
well,
Well, not in, you could be,
unless you're
in detention for.
unless you're handicapped,
No, if a person's not handicapped, they have to come in person,
they do.
request the absentee ballot, or the early mailing vote, whatever it is.
That's correct.
They have to do it in person. Is that what you're asking, Joe? Your question was, can we simplify that?
People that are away at college and they have.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying.
So they can print out the form.
I fully,
Mail it in, wait for it to come back.
Yeah.
I mean, is there?
it's a whole big process.
You could just mail it in.
Nobody
or
knows what
email
it is.
Email it and get it emailed to you, like, it just seems like in this day and age, the process is too.
Is that legal? Is that a legal process?
I agree with you, Jill, about the cumbersomeness of the process. Unfortunately, when they create new laws, they don't create the laws to follow with the technology.
Okay, so
Well,
it is
do all
law.
those college students get to vote here?
No, they,
Yeah, like,
how many,
So-
so it is law.
They can't, because they're not gonna print it out.
Is this policy or
Correct
is
me
this
if I'm
law?
wrong, I believe you spoke to you, but correct me if I'm wrong, Steve. You don't have to, come in person to give the application.
But you have
But,
to have a hard copy and
but
mail.
we will only send we will not give someone the ballot unless you are that person.
Correct, in
So,
person.
if someone comes with an application, as you know,
Yes.
you could come in with other people's applications.
Yes.
We would have to mail that application
Correct,
to the
Correct.
residents
correct.
of wherever they are. If someone comes in who's actually the person
Yes, you could
requesting
give it
the
to them right
ballot,
at that
you
time.
could give them the ballot at the time, they could fill it out, complete it, and give it back to you if they want to, right at that moment.
Fine, and once again, my question is, and to Jill's point,
yes, you do.
can we eliminate, is it law or is it policy, what is it? where the application has to be, given in person, or they mail it in, or correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm just trying to remember. Can we email it? Can the application be emailed, and then you can, right? You could email the application, and then the district clerk mails the early mail ballot or the absentee ballot or whatever, right? So the
Yes,
person
but
doesn't actually ever have to enter the building.
No, because they're away.
Right.
The whole point is they're
So
not
a college student can
there. You
request.
can't email again wet signature.
Right, they can't email me back the application.
Oh, right, they cannot
They
email,
can mail
right.
it.
Correct.
They cannot email back, but that adds on days with mail system.
It
So
does.
why can't they do email? Because it's wrong way?
wet signature.
That's it.
And is this law?
Again,
Oh,
they haven't caught up yet, but again, the whole process is,
Okay,
for example, the kids at college,
Yes.
they know they're not gonna be there,
yes,
and they can submit that absentee ballot much earlier than, not much earlier, but within the time frame. They can do it at the beginning of the absentee ballot timeframe. I think I'm
Okay.
boring Mr. Froman.
Not at all.
No, no, no,
I'm thinking
this-
about my head's tired.
this
My
stuff
neck's
is
tired
so
above my head.
interesting to me. Okay, so there's no, I don't wanna say loophole, because I'm not trying to find a loophole, but there's no easier way to do it. I know.
The applications, we physically came in here.
I went,
I
yes,
couldn't give you the ballots, I had to mail the ballots.
I understand, yes.
And then we collected them again.
It's very efficient. Okay, page 2 of this,
Alright, we're moving on, I guess.
where we have this whole thing about a FOIL, list of all persons absent ballots of issue will be detained in the office of the district clerk, right? This is right enough, that's where you went to see it, or you
I'm
didn't
sorry?
get to see it?
I'm sorry,
Did you get to see a list of all the people? Remember you went to go in to see a list of all the people who received absentee ballots?
Yes,
You did see it, right?
yes,
Okay, just making, I did not remember.
That's law.
And then
Yes.
after the election, it's foilable?
Well, the whole
Who
voting
applies?
process.
The whole
Who
voting
applies?
process is.
who got the ballot, not who voted. That's not foilable.
You can get the
No, well,
voting
the voter
everyone.
list-
You can get the voting list, everyone, but
Right.
you can get the list of who actually got the
Because
absentee
you could
ballot.
physically come in and inspect them.
Right, which I did, yes.
But so you'll be able to see who requested an absentee ballot and who actually, okay, so you'll say everybody who filed a qualified application for an absentee ballot. You will not see a list of people who asked for the application.
No, you would see who filed for one and you would, yeah.
Okay.
Because the whole point of that is that in the event that someone, again, this is kind of archaic because of the fact that early mail voting now, that you don't need a reason, but back in the old days,
Yeah.
Understood.
one of the reasons was, well, I'm not in Nassau County.
I'm not in town.
And then you can say, well, no, I saw Sam Perlman at the bagel store today. He's clearly in town today.
No cards for me. Under early mail ballots, a district voter must request in advance an application for an early mail ballot. When else are they gonna request this? Erie Bosse's really owes us money.
Sometimes you have to be literal.
And our ballot, and our early mail application is online, if I'm not mistaken.
The
We put it
application,
online last year or 2 years ago.
the application is.
The application,
We are done with voting. We are on to 1650, the final policy in this section. Procedure requesting the board to call a special district voter question on request of education.
You want submission of questions or propositions?
Yeah, question, I just didn't understand. I don't know, I wrote here example, but I don't really care.
Why did it change from 30 to 60?
I'm sorry?
Which one?
I believe 1650 changes it to
30 to 60 what?
days for proposition, questions and propositions.
I don't know what the change is. I've always believed it was 60.
I'll look.
I don't have I can't
I have
access
the
the
red
red
line.
version.
I know the other difference is that instead of 2% signatures of the previous year's vote, you need 5%.
And technically, the board
Submit your
can
proposition.
put their own proposition up without any of this. And what's a proposition in transportation? It's the easiest proposition. You want to change the transportation eligibility from 2 to 1.5. I don't know what Jericho has.
so you could put up proposition
Proposition.
to start
Well,
middle
if
school
universal, but
earlier.
if you didn't have universal,
I like
then you
that.
wanted to put it up from 2 to
Then we have
1.5,
to put it to a vote, and then what happens if they vote yes?
then you would have,
So, you're asking about transportation?
I'm just saying, somebody would put proposition to start middle school, no, I'm sorry, not earlier, later, and that proposition got put in.
That was me speaking.
Are you
I
sure?
thought that was in my head.
And
I'm
that,
sorry.
that would get a vote of yes, and that would win. What would, the district would have no choice
Well,
but to
the
comply?
proposition has to be a valid proposition,
Yeah.
including the language associated with it. So I don't know, I would have to provide it to the attorneys, but I would imagine if you're just requesting one time for one of the sections of Nutley Middle High School, I'm not sure that that would be valid because you're not entertaining the other.
You're also, because you're ignoring.
Okay,
what
makes
the
sense.
elementary-
It's not benefiting the entire,
Generally,
district.
propositions have a monetary, should have a monetary proposition
I
to
got
it.
it.
And you would actually, in the propositions itself, again, transportation would be the easiest one, even though it's universal, you would have to write what the monetary cost would be, because that could potentially lead to the district piercing the cap.
I understand. Makes sense.
But can you confirm if it changed from 30 to 60?
I don't,
I'm trying right here and I cannot. I have the whole red line here, but I may not have that. Right, I can't remember which is which.
Do you want me to find it?
Yeah, if you can find it.
What's the word that I'm looking for?
1650.
1650.
Well, actually, was this 1650 before, I guess is
Oh,
the
okay.
question. That's the other one.
qualified voters. Qualified voters.
That's why I'm looking for 1650, it's probably not 1650.
We had a 1650.
And I think, I think if,
We had a
I don't know if it
1720
was
that's
30,
1650
because
now.
prior to, because under the law for the budget
60
notices
days.
and everything, it would need to be 60 days.
60 days.
It says 60, there we go.
Yeah, the reason for it being 60, maybe at one point, but for 60 days, you need to have the budget notice, and the propositions need to be in the budget notice, which is at least 45 days prior to, the board needs to approve the proposition. There's a process. No, I think no, this is for, it's for the, propositions related to an annual election. I think it's 30 days for a special election, 6 days for an annual, because there's a different process between the two, that's why.
Okay,
So Mr. Barini might be correct with regards to a 30-day timeframe, but it's for a different, this provision in particular is referring to the annual election. And there is a timeframe that requires at least 45 days for those types of things to be on.
For sanity's sake, unless the board really wants to go, why don't we say we're gonna go for another 20 minutes? And in that case, why don't we jump to the 4,000s, because it's only 8 pages of policies, only 7 policies.
The 2000s are how long?
These are 5, yes.
The
Wait, the
2000s
2000s are the short one?
Yeah, 2000 are short ones now.
Oh, just 2000s, then we'll do 4,000s are short too. So we can bang this all out. Screw that, I thought the 2000s were the
All
big
right,
one.
so we're going on
How
to,
about we make a deal that this will be the last time that we do this much in one time?
No, this is, most nights we have about the same number of pages, that's how I broke it up. So,
Yeah, so it's just.
that's the only way we're gonna be able to get through.
that's the only way we're gonna get through. So we'll add a meeting. Hey, you're doing this from your couch, I mean, you're comfortable. You got snacks, you got everything you need there. Okay, 2000, orienting and training board members, the board and its staff. What staff does the board have?
The district clerk
Okay,
and the district treasurer.
our staff of the district clerk and the district treasurer. District treasurer, Ms. Lee?
Technically,
Wonderful. We got
That's
these here.
it's our employees.
It's not our staff though some treat him like it is. So that's the clerk and treasurer. Under,
This doesn't even look like a change.
under C, it says having the clerk supply material. Is that the district clerk or the board clerk?
What about the positions? We appoint positions.
they're not your staff.
We appoint everybody.
There's like nothing, this is uppercase and lowercase.
The district clerk and board clerk and board clerk.
Oh, they are?
Yeah.
There we go. That solves a lot of my questions.
This policy doesn't have any.
We're good. No changes then. Let's go. We are on to 2210.
2210, I had a question, committees of the board. I'm sorry? What'd you say?
I suggested a policy.
And a policy committee?
I suggested a policy committee.
You would still have to sit through that one now.
We literally have a policy. We literally have
Yeah, you would.
a policy. Sure.
Okay, 2210, just a general question. Is it the board or the superintendent that creates the committees? Because I,
The board. Well, it depends. These are your board.
Not district committees. This
And then there was one. Go
Which-
ahead, we're listening.
Okay, board committees, which one?
The only one we
Okay.
have is but where it is the,
Audit
Audit.
committee.
I got you, okay, fine, that answers my question.
you're thinking of something else, but what is this visitation?
That's really, it looks like it's your buildings and grounds, if you had a building facilities committee. And it's,
So should we delete that one?
Are we required to have it?
Requirement,
they're not required to have that one, the audit committee you're required to have.
Yeah.
so
We'll put one on one committee, the others will at least one time. I don't think it's a bad bill, but we'll get rid of it.
there's 5 of us that are.
Well, no, we can, I think that's what we're saying. Good, so we'll get rid of visitation committee. If we have a committee where it has 2 people, and the president's the ex officio member, doesn't that make it a quorum?
Isn't that fun? Technically, but as an ex officio member, you do not have the ability to vote.
Oh, okay, perfect, so it does make it a quorum.
But, again, when it comes to those type of things, really the issues regarding posting, you don't actually have a board committee other than an audit committee in which you're required to post, so that kind of makes it a moot issue right now. You don't have any additional committees.
The place is 2210, but this is 2210. Okay, we're good with 2210, 2320. This is where the board clerk showed up again. Okay. The authorization for board members to attend a conference, convention, or workshop will be by board resolution adopted prior to attendance.
Yes, we don't need that.
Is that law, or is that just,
I like to add the words as practicable to that one in the event that something pops up. But
Okay.
technically, you're expending money, you need board resolutions to expend money.
so like when we go to NISBA, we need to have a board resolution to buy tickets to NISBA? Okay,
You do it
To spend money.
with the budget.
It's like a confirming order.
It's a
It's a confirming order. Confirming order, so
we may need a new claims auditor now.
No, it's like a confirming order.
You gotta do purchase order, but you don't need board resolution to do purchase order. The
It
budget.
depends
is
on
the
what your,
voter
depends on what
authorization
your
public
reorg law is.
authorization.
If there's a budget
It's under
for, a line item, a budget for.
I mean, you can do it if you want.
There's a budget line item for everything, we still have to approve every check.
It depends on what some of the other policies, it
The
depends on
pre-order.
what some of the other policies say.
you cannot spend money without any money. It's a pre-order.
But you can have a board policy which authorizes the approval of the board policy. So it depends on what the board policy says.
Are we writing the board policy?
Right?
So can we get a board policy that members can spend whatever they want at conferences?
No.
So what can we do here to make this simpler?
Yeah, but it says that, before you go to a conference, the board has to have a resolution, like we've always gone to the conferences as, no one takes advantage of it, and
But the whole thing is the policy says that, if we can cut this out, I'm happy, but you're saying we have to keep something in this.
Jill, Jill, what are you talking about? We
If you're
can't
not- if
per
the board is-
se.
I mean, moving forward, the board's going to a conference, just throw a schedule, put a schedule on the back of the at the back of an agenda, it just says the board, and you guys, I have seen it in the past, more so for staff members if they're attending conferences.
Oh, 100%.
Just, it's,
Yeah, but that's after the fact.
And that's
it should be
reimbursing
before
them.
the fact. But reimbursement's fine.
Well, the conference schedule that you see,
Yeah.
it's, the employee already went on the conference, you see the end result.
So we're,
The
so,
superintendent
Are you not
authorizes-
paying, are you not paying the money until after the fact?
When he's talking about the conference schedule that shows up on the board report, that is after the fact, the check is issued that night.
So we will ensure that we are.
all we see is a check register that said, this is how my, or a register that says,
Yes.
this person got
They already-
$500 to reimburse them for going to FBLA.
Reimbursement's
They already went
different,
on.
reimbursement's
Yeah.
different, that's a different
So
issue.
you're saying, so every conference and every,
The conference attendance, if you're.
by board members or anybody?
Everybody.
So like superintendent goes somewhere, he's supposed to get prior approval.
Superintendent's going to the school law conference, he gets board approval, or should get.
I don't think I've ever seen the schedule.
We never got this.
That's, how can the board has to approve the spending of money.
That's in the budget.
Okay, well, did we, who's gonna get who volunteers to get this fixed and it's not a board member?
We will discuss it.
We'll take care of it.
Three of us.
The three amigos, there we go. Okay, so we're gonna do that, and so we leave this paragraph in here, so we do need to go ahead, if, as practicable. 2330, compensation and expenses.
Question, I have a question. Why do we need the paragraph under conference travel for newly elected board members? It says that the board by majority vote may authorize a newly elected board member whose term of office is not yet.
And you know what, I was confused about that too, it's before they're actually a board member, so if they're elected in
Yeah,
May and they wanna go to something in June, they don't
okay, okay,
There's
That
certain,
makes
there's
sense.
certain trainings, like the financial training that they're required to have,
Okay.
they could have done before.
okay, okay,
So just saying they could do that earlier.
Okay.
It took me a while to figure that out.
okay.
For the last paragraph here, does it make sense to add if attendance, under president or vice president, if attendance is expected to occur before next regularly scheduled board meeting? So if something pops up and someone changes their mind and says, gee, I wanna get on this, I wanna go to this, not cyber conference, online conference, that they decide 3 days before, it just, they don't have to do it, they don't have to miss it because there's no board meeting before that. You understand what I'm saying? It says here that the only opportunity the president or vice president can approve a conference unilaterally is if attendance is before the next scheduled board meeting. I didn't say it properly the first time. It's meaningless, but whatever, and,
But then, go back to what we were talking about before, technically this is allowing for,
but they said here, a board president can allow,
that's what I'm saying, so.
but you're telling me Gary Bosse's again screwed up?
No, I'm not telling you that. I was saying before is technically, unless your policy dictates otherwise, you would need a resolution to approve. The board can approve a policy which approves the attendance of conferences. You have to do that. You can't.
But isn't that what?
That's what this policy's saying, but the other policy's saying resolution. So again, we just have to fix the word. Fix the word. We'll work on it.
Work on it. Do we put in here that we'll reimburse board members for legal fees in events of charges brought to them by the board members? Oh, sorry, that's taken from that look, no. 2340.
That's literally the caveat of the law that says that if someone brings a charge against the board member, you cannot get the pension indemnification.
Is that law or is that just policy?
That's law.
Okay, the board will review the effectiveness of its internal operations at least once annually. Can we just say we're gonna do this in July?
Then you force yourself to do it in July.
But isn't that the time when you're supposed to be doing it?
At least once annually.
I know, but when would be the optimal time to
I
review?
don't disagree with you. I'm just saying that I want the board to be aware that if you do it and you write in July, then you have to do it in July.
Why don't you use your favorite word, it's practical
It's 2 words.
words.
We miss you in person here, Ms. Citron, it's just not as fun. Okay, so you're saying just once annually, no, that's fine, I like your way to do it, we'll never do it.
Nope, that says you have to do it once annually.
And we have to get board approval. Okay, can we make a note that we're gonna do this in July?
Yes.
Okay, we got 9 minutes left, let's go to 4,000. See what we can bang through here. 4,000, 7 policies on 8 pages.
I have to admit, I did not read 4,000, I read 3,000 by accident instead. I totally screwed it up, so
It's not that
you
bad,
guys can move forward.
thank you. Administrative personnel, no changes and it looks solid. Any comments, Mr. Jin, Mrs. Citron? 4210, administrative organization and operation. It says direct flow of authority upward and downward from superintendent to building principal. Are we saying there's nothing in between? This goes back to the issue of where do curriculum associates fall in this whole thing? And also, what are staff officers? I know what they are in the Navy, but like here we have staff officers do not stand in the direct line of authority. What is a staff officer?
I did not.
If we wanted to overthrow the.
Okay, so we're not gonna sign off on these tonight. Did we make too many changes to do first reads of 1 and 2?
No.
We can do first reads? So we don't know what this means, staff officers, so we're gonna save these to next time, so this is, but we still have 8 minutes, let's just bang through this. Administrative regulations, that we said is next year's business, right? Under line of responsibility, where does the curriculum associate fall under here? Where does the curriculum associate fall?
Directly under the assistant superintendent for curriculum instruction.
Is it
Wouldn't
teachers
this,
union?
wouldn't this be where your org chart would go?
Yes.
Yes, no, org chart definitely goes here, but I'm not sure if this says what the org chart says.
I think you could probably remove this entire section and put the org chart.
Good. That was a worthwhile use of the 60 seconds. Perfect, just the org chart. Oh, we're gonna be able to put this one too, except for the line off it. Oh no, we're getting rid of all that. Perfect. 4220. During the absence of the superintendent will delegate to another administrator the authority. Where and how do they do that? And is this one person that they have, or each time they leave the office, they pick a favorite child?
Fantastic question.
So far, I picked my favorite child.
So each time? Is that best practice, or is best practice to say XYZ is in charge when Dr. Kravitz is flowing the
Day.
coop?
So when we had an event, Dr. Sherman, Mr. Manuel went with me. So the next person in line was the other assistant superintendent.
Yeah, I never take all of the assistant superintendents with you.
Well, you can, then you need someone who has a certificate in that, the school administration step, there's an issue.
It's
Okay.
better to do, no, it's better to leave it the way it is.
Okay, who, just so as a board person knows this, who do you usually tell that they're in charge to?
Usually Victor is the next person in line.
No, but I'm saying like, so, but who knows besides Victor?
Everybody knows that Victor's in line.
No, but he may
He's
be
saying
with
the
you.
board doesn't know.
Oh, the
that.
The board doesn't know. Board has, something, you're out and there's a lockdown at the school. Obviously, we're gonna contact you first. You're on a plane to Austin. How do we know who to call?
You just said.
You would know that, I mean. if-
Other than Ms. Dolce, who runs the whole place. So that would be my first call.
And she would tell you that Victor is the same way that even on the plane they were texting, everybody's available, but Victor is the number 2.
Perfect. So unless he's with you somewhere, and this is only when he leaves school grounds, right? It's not just, it's like when he's out of pocket, what does this qualify as?
I don't know what that phrase.
Unreachable.
I know what that means.
He said out of pocket, I thought he was struggling with
I
it.
thought it was a billiard.
It's an old type phrase, I used to work for old people.
No, generally speaking, for example, if Dr. Kravitz is accessible, like he's at a superintendent's event in Garden City, he's.
Oh, okay, so this isn't, got it, perfect,
This is really when he's not there.
not there. 4230, district committees. All this is great, can we please add something here on just a subsection called reporting information to the board? For all standing committees, can we get the name of the committee, the assignment, the members, the leader, under whose authority the committee was formed or appointed, and its expected meeting frequency? And I can read this all slowly to you, I'm just giving it to you. And then for ad hoc committees, can we get the name, their assignment, under whose authority it was formed, the members, the leader, and the expected duration?
Can you send me an email?
Absolutely, but I'm saying, like, to ask that as a reporting structure, just so that the board has that, is all I'm talking about.
I mean, just know that you can be you can be the person that appoints the committee as well.
I know. Oh, no, I'm saying, even if it's a board committee, I want that to be just readily available, that these are our committees, this is that, because we had an exercise earlier this year where we were trying to figure out what freaking committees existed. And the other thing which I sort of wanted, but I don't know how to word is, can we put in there something, best efforts to recruit members from the community for representation on committees, as opposed to, we always draft from the same small pool of people? We don't need to add it there, we'll just leave that as a concept that's gonna get added next time. 4240. With 3 minutes left. Oh, we're so close. All right.
With regards to the
I just,
evaluation,
the September 10th, is that the?
with regards to Dr. Kravitz's evaluation, I'm not sure what is in his contract off the top of my head. And this is one of those things in which you want to ensure that whatever policy you have regarding the evaluation of Dr. Kravitz doesn't.
But I would hope that Erie Bosse's put in here, there's a statutory requirements, you have to have this, the procedure, which I guess is really the rubric, filed by a certain date.
Oh, yeah, no, I agree with that, I just wanna make sure that whatever's in here regarding what that procedure is, it doesn't not align.
And it says September 10th, so I just want to make sure that's the right date.
Wait, where do you see August 1st?
It says September.
In the red line, it's crossed.
Oh. Well, I'm sure he has access to his contract. What's it say? Well, he looks it up.
But maybe we should add our 2 words.
No, but if it's in his contract, then we can't add that, unless it also says it's practical. While he's looking at it, evaluation of administrative staff.
On or before October 1st.
It's October 1st, Mr. Citron, so we're getting rid of September 10th, we're putting in October 1st. The former will include, the second paragraph, do we need all that, or can we just include written criteria? Because that's, I think, all we're required to file. Can we get rid of description of the review procedures, provisions for post-conferencing and methods to record results? Just get rid of that. For evaluation of administrative staff, there's nothing in here about frequency. And is administrative staff assistant superintendents, or is it like clerical staff?
I think it's administrators.
I think it's the central office.
Okay, so let's
I
change.
mean, everyone else, so for example, the support staff is all governed by contract.
Right, so if we could do evaluation of administrators as opposed to administrative staff, so since no one else seems to know what it was. And do we not have a frequency in here? Does this not have to be done annually?
So
No,
in
for
the
your
red line,
staff. Yes, Mrs. Citron.
in the red line, it said annual, and it's crossed off.
So let's add annual.
That's fine.
No problem, any problem with that? Administrators or superintendent? Perfect, now we get to our favorite, 4310, superintendent of schools. Actually, almost as good as super. We've got 2 policies left, we're banging through. This is just horribly written. You're laughing, Mr. Gustavo, why are you laughing?
I'm laughing. Again, generally speaking, Dr. Kravitz's roles and responsibilities are set forth in his contract. This is technically not a required policy.
And from the standpoint of red line, it just is changing like letters and same substance that was already in here.
But this type of detail is not in his, not in his contract, it's more as, he basically runs everything unless the board says he doesn't run it, and even then he still runs it.
Well, he runs everything. I mean, Educational 1711 talks about what the role of the superintendent of school is, which is.
So we can trash this?
If the board wishes.
Any interest in the policy? Trash it. When we have a superintendent who needs more guidance, we'll bring him back.
I would think of leave it, it's better to leave it in policy committee.
That's fine.
Then we'll leave it.
Yeah, I don't know what you thought.
I wanted to make policy is the law, it is the law of the schools, and I think it's appropriate.
Okay then,
I agree.
then we will accept it. Can I just point out, E and J look like they're the exact same thing?
They're not.
Recommend to the board the appointment of all instructional and support personnel. Recommend for hire, evaluate, promote, and dismiss all professional and non-professional staff personnel. I know those not the same.
Well, one's appointment, one's hire, evaluate, promote, and dismiss.
It's appointment.
Appointment is hire.
Isn't that under J, hire?
Well, no, so it's 2 different things.
If you're saying they're different, then
They are
leave it. Perfect. Can we, under A, and I don't know why it was taken out in the red line, can we take out Ed, it used to be in there that he is not there for meetings with the auditors, if we don't want him there for meetings with the auditors, external auditors. So it's letter A, attend all regular special working meetings of the board except the superintendent may be excluded when his or her employment contract performance is discussed in executive session. I think that should also be, or when the board is, requests to have a private session with the external auditors.
I'm not sure if you're violating his contract by doing that.
I don't think we are,
I don't know, I don't have.
and I think by law, we're allowed to do that.
Off the top of my head, I'll have to look into it.
Okay.
That sounds right to me.
I'm not saying that you're wrong or not, I'm just,
No problem.
I just don't know.
Is there anything here that you don't wanna do? Is there anything here you wanna do that we haven't told you you can do? Okay. Last bullet here, submit data from the school report card by in accordance with requirements. Who's he submitting it to?
State of,
So take this.
So you're not giving it to us?
I mean, you can, but that's different policy.
Okay.
The school report card, I mean, that's just school safety and education climate, that can, by policy, can be given to the board.
Perfect. And in the hopes of being running 5 minutes late, superintendent, board, so everybody good with 4310? I feel like the people have failed, flagged. 4320, superintendent, board relations. We're gonna legal, deleted. What we deleted was board can delegate legal responsibility. I don't want to be able to delegate legal responsibility, so I'm otherwise okay with this. Mr. Jin, Mrs. Citron, anything?
No, I did not.
We are great.
Repeat what you want to eliminate from that?
4410, which is
Go ahead.
4410, that says we encourage administrators to keep themselves informed of current educational theory and practice. Is there another
There's no 4410, Jill.
No, I know it got deleted, it was there
Oh, I'm
before.
sorry.
The red line.
I assume it's somewhere else under,
It's
like,
probably somewhere else.
Yeah, they
under
probably
curriculum.
deleted it.
But I like that concept. Let's hopefully.
We will. Okay. We have some meaningful changes, but all in favor of first reads of the policies mentioned as amended? 1, 2, 3. Mrs. Citron, where do you stand? Yea or nay?
My hand up.
Hand up. 4-0, adoption of all those policies. The only thing,
No, not adoption.
I'm sorry, for approval of first reading, and the 2 open items here that we will address at a future meeting are 1, adding in the org chart, and 2, whether or not we add a board code of ethics, best practices, and civility. Those are the 2 open items as far as I remember. And
As well as the other comments we discussed.
yeah, the comments with the stuff about elections. Perfect. All business is concluded. I have a motion to adjourn.
Wait, are we going into?
Executive session.
We're gonna go, yes, we are going back into executive session. Motion to go back into executive session. First, Mrs. Citron, Mrs. Vartnoff, seconds. All in favor of going to executive session? Aye. We do not expect to come back and take any actions. We will come back simply to close down the general meeting. We thank all of your patience, all the teeming crowd that stayed here in person. Thank you very much. Have a good evening.